Hello, and we
Hello,
are
America.
back once again. Um, yeah. So after last week, the surprise, the delay, and then the surprise appearance of two co-hosts, one of which who did not leave unscarred. We are back again with sad old TR Hudson, the regular Hudson.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
I'm in my Eeyore arc.
Suicidal depressive.
Yeah, it turns out that arc is like 30 years long.
Yeah, that was a really powerful swallow. You just
Thank you.
did there.
Thank you.
I could like hear that. It was like Foley.
Yo, my mic is awesome. Do you want to know something interesting?
Always
TiVo is still around.
TiVo, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the digital recorder thing.
yeah. It like switched up its business practices, and now it's like a Roku type media streamer. But I was thinking because I was in a group chat and somebody was like, "Yeah, I love watching golf, but I hate all the commercials." So I was like, "Oh, there should be like an AI TiVo that just automatically cuts out the commercials."
And there
So,
is, and it's TiVo,
right? Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There, it already exists.
Like TiVo,
Oh,
TiVo
right.
still exists.
They should. I mean, actually, it is completely. You're completely correct that Roku and all those other things should just
Implement AI.
do.
Yeah.
Implement AI so that it just like fucking cuts out commercials. How brutal would that be? Just
So, TiVo, TiVo AI. I want you to create a compilation of all the boob scenes from the various movies. Go.
it's like a gooner. It's a gooner edit. It's
Gooner
just like
AI.
it's like over. I mean, they do that now. I don't know if you've used 4chan recently.
I don't.
But there's like this whole thing where Zoomers are so brain rotted that they can't like they apparently can't nut unless there's 12 different bouncing pairs of tits at like 3 times speed on the screen at all times.
Oh
This
man,
is like
so over.
Zoomers like if this trend continues, Gen Alpha is going to summon Slanesh. Like that's what's going to happen
So
because they're gonna be so impossibly overstimulated or like require such a high level of stimulation that their pornography is just going to be white noise static to everyone else.
so 2 points to that, right? One, John Carter had a banger tweet the other day, about feeling like John Henry whenever he sees a girl who has like a massive collection of sex toys. Great tweet. One of the best,
So
right?
you go home with the girl and she's got the full bad dragon like
Right.
full lineup, and you're just like, well, all I have is my
All I've
weak
got is
all I
I'm a
have is my
steel
weak
driving man.
I just have this like exceptional human penis. I can't compete with these machines.
John
So
Henry, he was a
he
fighter.
tries to outfuck the fuck machine and his heart
Exactly.
explodes.
His heart explodes. He takes a Viagra and his heart explodes.
Amazing.
And then also in Gooner related news, because not only are we a schizo podcast, but we are also a Gooner news podcast.
This
In
week in Gooner news,
breaking news, so the House of Ohio, so the Ohio Congressional House, put forward basically a male seed bill saying that any man who spills his seed without the express purpose of procreation will get like a $10,000 fine.
non fans are a shambles. That is horrible.
And
Yeah,
I'm thinking like, oh, because the
horrible
only
for
thing that
non
was
fans.
stopping for an American Taliban from rising up was the gooning.
Was the Goonie? I know that's a
That's
totally
like
accelerationist move.
that's the last thing. If you want to keep like some semblance of democracy, you gotta keep the gooning.
Yeah, I mean, well, Penultimo, as far as your jerkmate ranking goes, I don't know. Is Ohio like, go Buckeyes? Do they have like a really high ranking
Yeah,
in
no, Ohio.
in jerkmate? Like, are they conference champions?
They are. I mean, Ohio State just won the college football championship. So
Okay, but what about the Gooning championship?
I think that was the MIT team
Okay, that makes sense.
because they
That makes
created
sense.
they created Goonbot 5000.
Yeah. See, the Ohio State football team enters the Ohio State football team enters the Gooning competition, and they get all John Henried. Their hearts just end up exploding because the MIT goon machine is too powerful.
So funny story. The first short story I've ever put out on my Substack is called John Henry, and it's about a guy who gets into a competition with an AI-driven truck. But turns out I was wrong. It's not the automated trucking we had to worry about. It was the
automated fucking.
It was the automated. I was just one letter off.
Yep, two actually.
Well, whatever.
It would be frucking. This is not a thing. No one's ever.
Speaking of trucking.
Speaking of frucking.
As if I'd ever consider stopping trucking.
Yes. We do actually. We do have. X Guy Extra. Yes, thank you. Tookie's Mag officially 1,000 subs. That's a nice milestone for the boys.
Not for nothing. If you guys can sub to Tookie's Mag, you can easily sub to Double Dealer and get us over the edge.
You can edge the Double Dealer easily. They're desperate for attention.
If Tom's watching, Tom's definitely watching in between.
And he's literally named after edging.
Yes.
So
but you see, he was ascendant yesterday. He had a banger tweet. Got like 16,000 likes, probably up to 20 at this point. So he's on cloud nine from the DD account.
Amazing. I didn't see that one.
Oh, it was about Gooning, actually.
Perfect. It always is, isn't it? It always is.
It was a tweet about what was it? And I'm gonna mess it up, but it's like he put into Grok vampire literature with the JD Vance main character.
Right. That's right. Yep.
People went nuts.
You got a MAGA main character in the women. Yeah. They want him, but they don't want to lose all of their friends. I think I did. I saw that in the group chat before he sent it. I had a chance to steal his banger, but
have you ever had a banger? Cap?
Not the one that banged that powerfully.
Yeah. It's the dangerous thing about bangers is as soon as you get one, you're chasing that dragon forever.
I know. Yeah, I'm almost afraid of doing it.
Well, you have nothing to be afraid of.
Nice. I appreciate it. I appreciate the vote of no confidence. The vote of no confidence. So this is a great question. Ryan Gosling Anon, how will the USAID funding impact the channel's follower count? And are us feds supposed to watch for free? Yeah, you know what? I would appreciate. So we don't run we enabled ads. But we didn't enable ads on live stream. So on the replay, you might see an ad here. But if you're watching live, it is ad free. So,
and you can always get your AI TiVo.
Yep. I will say that
the ads.
I will say that the all of our we haven't received a single super chat since USAID funding was cut off. So I'm pretty sure that tit has run dry. So
we were the Politico of schizo podcasts.
We were. They had just given us a few little squirts of federal milkies. We hadn't fully latched on yet, but I guess we missed that boat. Day late and dollar short.
Turns out that Mickey McVeigh was the US aid all along.
Mickey McVeigh, it turns out, the US aid was the whore mothers you met along the way. So let's see here. Skin tight stew. I appreciate that. Never checked the sub count. High quality. Never gave it a thought. Feels like 500K. That would be wonderful. I would be able to. Nope. Still have to have my main job because there's a lot of people on this channel. But anyway, yeah. Do you have anything else before we get started, Hudson?
No, I think I'm just going to invest in TiVo.
Invest. Yes, that's great. Just go for it, bud. I'll keep putting all my money wisely invested in shit coins. Yeah. Oh, but we will have t-shirts, by the way, and they will say keep on trucking on
That's
them.
right.
And it's probably going to have a yellow Ford F700 from 1993, which is the exact model. I looked that one up. Yeah, of course I looked it up. Anyway,
are we going to be in the truck?
I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Because we should be in the truck. I'll be John Doe number 1. You can be John Doe number 2.
Ooh, the one who lived. Maybe, who knows? There were some.
The one who became a science UFO guy.
We may reach the point where they talk about the guy who may or may not have been in the truck when it blew up this episode. But we'll see. Yeah. Oh, you did have another thing.
Yes.
You did. All right.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about this all day. It took me 12 hours to come up with. But what if Lon Horiuchi is actually a future assassin who is constantly killing baby Hitlers?
Oh, then he would be even more of a villain?
Actually.
Just like, these young artists who haven't even had a chance to apply for art school? Just killing babies? How dare you, Hudson?
I'm not saying I agree.
Hitler babies.
Babies Hitler or baby Hitlers?
It's like you know how
is it like sergeants major?
Yeah, if you like order if you're gonna order like a bacon cheeseburger junior, like a junior bacon cheeseburger, you wouldn't say junior bacon cheeseburger, you'd say bacon cheeseburgers junior. That's how you should say it.
My Royale with cheese. How about that?
Yeah. Well, they use the metric system.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Okay.
There are no juniors in French because we don't know who the fathers are.
So true, King. All right. They're all named after the president at the time, which is why they can't have a female leader. All right. Fall 1993. Plots carry their own logic. There is a tendency in plots to move towards death. CIA agent and black operator Win Everett from Don DeLillo, Libra, 1988. Listen all about it on the Double Dealers channel. Double Dealer mentioned again.
Exactly.
There you go. Twice in one episode. That's more than enough. But yeah, the cannon fodder episode that Hudson and I did a while back, which was kind of in a roundabout way the genesis for this.
It really
show,
was,
wasn't it? It was
not roundabout, directly.
Not roundabout, yeah, pretty directly. We may actually have said we should do Aberration in the Heartland of the Real on that episode. But yeah, you can fact check me there by going and watching that later after you're done here. All right. In September 1993, McVeigh attended the annual Soldier of Fortune convention in Las Vegas, where he met up with and manned a table for Roger Moore, a regular attendee of the event. The 4-day convention is a paramilitary theme park, widely attended by civilians, but also a hot destination for ex or current military, including special forces types, as well as police officers and security professionals. Soldier of Fortune magazine still exists online.
What?
By the way, yeah, still exists online. And I read it today and found a post about this like spy recruiting video that the Russian intelligence services had
that's
produced.
What you sent out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
You should definitely watch it. Yeah, it had like 50 views. So apparently no one uses the Soldier of Fortune website, but they're doing like pretty interesting reporting. So
okay. So 2 things. 1, that's awesome. Definitely gonna go be a spy for Russia. Just kidding. And also, nobody knows how to, like, whenever you say, "Oh, do an impression of James Bond," everybody does Connery. But
Yeah.
can you do a Roger Moore James Bond impression? Because I'm thinking that
I
Timothy
can't. I
McVeigh
don't even know which
has
Roger Moore. I don't even know which Bond movie Roger Moore was in.
all of the cheesy ones.
Like Octopussy.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't really remember.
So yeah, so he was the second Bond. So I'm just thinking that because I think Pierce Brosnan or
Pierce Brosnan is the best Bond.
he's not.
He is. He is. I'll kill you.
Timothy Dalton is.
And you're a spy now, so I get to. It's legal.
Yeah. You have your letter of marque.
It's
or
Mark.
Mark,
It's Mark.
whatever.
Yeah, letter of marque and reprisal.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Bring him
I'm
back.
thinking right now in my head, Timothy McVeigh is hanging out with famed James Bond actor Roger Moore, who is no longer James Bond, so he decided to go to the gun show market.
Okay. All right. So he's just an Englishman. He's just a fairly
Yep.
old Englishman at this point.
And Timothy's like, "Hey, Roger, do you want a tab?" And because people drank tab back then, and Roger Moore is like, "Yeah, I'll have a tab, shaken, not stirred." See, I can only do.
You
Connery.
can only do Connery.
I can
Yeah.
only do. I can. What does do? The other ones are so not. They're just random British guy. They should have a Cockney Bond for once.
Well, wasn't that what's his face? The most recent Daniel Craig?
No, he wasn't Cockney. He was, I don't know, Midlands.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask somebody who cares.
Yeah, so true. I think they should probably the next fucking James Bond is going to be an Indian woman. So, it doesn't matter. It's over. It's so over.
Yes, I would have this paneer shaken, not stirred.
That's not a cocktail we serve, ma'am. And you have a very husky voice. How dare you? I am a ma'am. I am a ma'am.
Show me your bubs.
Show me your bubs. All right. I bought these bubs. Friendship with the Queen over.
I have a license to goon here. Thank you.
Oh my God. All right. Special forces types as well as police officers and security professionals. Attendees can take part in a variety of combat training seminars, knife fighting, hand-to-hand combat, etc. Compete in shooting contests, listen in on lectures about a number of paramilitary and law enforcement related topics, join a civilian militia, recruit members into their own militia, or just peruse hundreds of merchant tables hawking guns and survival gear. The convention was also noted as a place where attendees can connect with recruiters looking to enlist mercenaries for missions to third world countries, such as those conducted by Roger Moore's friends in MI6, the civilian military assistants, or even with representatives from domestic law enforcement agencies openly seeking to recruit undercover informants. Fucking hilarious. Yeah. That's where I got my job.
I'm in the wrong line. I'm supposed to be in the undercover informant line.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, you just want to walk around back of the curtain there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Your form's supposed to be goldenrod. This one's blue.
This one's salmon. Yeah. While neglecting to mention that he provided explosives to McVeigh, Roger Moore did tell the FBI that he and McVeigh got into an argument at the convention. McVeigh heard one of Moore's customers use the word patriot, and then when the man walked away from Moore's table, McVeigh eagerly ran after him and began talking to him about Waco. Moore said he was concerned because he had noticed that the man was wearing some sort of law enforcement badge under his coat and feared McVeigh would cause trouble for Moore by making a spectacle of himself. Dude, touch grass, McVeigh. Come on, bud.
Roger Moore died in 2017. I didn't know that.
You mean
the real one?
Okay. So this one?
No. The James Bond.
The James Bond one. Okay. Made a spectacle of himself. To top it off, after talking to the badged man, McVeigh came. That's totally a spook name, right? The badged man.
That sounds
McVeigh
like a bad
came
guy
back
from
to the table.
The X-Files.
announced he was going for a lunch break and then vanished for 2 hours. When he did return, Moore laid into McVeigh for his long absence, and they argued loudly until convention organizers came over to reprimand them, after which Moore told McVeigh that he was no longer welcome there. That's the version of the story as told by both Moore and McVeigh. Okay. In another version,
Guys, we need to, or Tim, listen, we need to pretend that we're fighting. So, go away for 2
yeah.
hours, and
Oh,
then
it's
I'll get
fake
really
beef.
mad.
Fake beef.
Yeah,
That's
they
great.
have kayfabe in the 90s. This is before postmodern wrestling.
I mean, they had kayfabe in the 90s in wrestling too.
No, I know. I'm saying this is before anybody knew what kayfabe was.
Got it. Yeah, before the term was
I saw this in wrestling. It'll
I
work.
saw it in wrestling. But wrestling is real, Roger.
No.
Just try. In another version, McVeigh met up with the Major, Jolly on West, at the Soldier of Fortune convention, and they discussed the information McVeigh had provided thus far. The Major assured McVeigh that they had only been seen, that he had only been at Waco as an observer and had no active part in what happened there. Sure. McVeigh knew he was lying when, later in the discussion, the mayor instructed him to take his team of men, which he should have assembled by now, and prepare to carry out a domestic bombing. The intent of the bombing, which would be blamed on the Patriot, militia, and survivalist movements, was to take the wind out of their anti-government sails. The Major then gave him a large infusion of cash. Hey, Major, how much fertilizer do you think this much money would buy?
Oh, that depends. How much can fit in this convention center?
Oh man, that would how much? Yeah, how much? I wonder how much fertilizer how much ammonium nitrate could fit in the Las Vegas sphere. Just make the world's largest hand grenade. I mean, you'd need a larger hand, I guess. It would be a grenade still, though.
It's just a grenade.
Yeah, it's just a grenade at that point.
Now, this is before Star Wars conventions were really big. So I have to imagine after the Patriot movement, everybody
I feel like the 90s were more of a Trekkie time.
Right. But like, even Comic-Con and stuff like that wasn't really big. I think that as soon as, the Patriot movement blew up, all the guys doing the fake knife fighting were like, oh, we could do this with, lightsabers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I wonder if the Soldier of Fortune convention still exists. It might.
We could get a table.
Oh my God. Yes, I'll totally dox myself there. No, wait, that's retarded, Hudson. Why the fuck would we do that?
Meet the TR Hudson.
Meet the TR Hudson. It's a blow up doll with an iPad on it that's streaming. Yeah,
streaming TiVo.
Streaming TV.
And selling keep on trucking merchandise.
Just leave the money in the you're just walking away with it. You're just stealing. How dare you? That's your voice when you're
I turn into Jimmy Stewart.
You turn into Jimmy.
Jeez. Hello, house.
I can't pay back the loan.
Uncle Billy, who's your man?
I'm just stuck here, and I'm pretty sure that fella in the rear window murdered his wife.
It was that giant rabbit.
Oh man, Harvey, so good. That movie's underrated. People don't watch that one. Actually, I got to watch that on drive time because I bet Mike of Pole has never seen a Jimmy Stewart movie.
Well, that's a good way to bring him back from the brink. Is just America's sweetheart.
America's sweetheart, Jimmy Stewart. Yeah. There's Jimmy Stewart wrote an extremely saccharine poem about his dog named Bo.
Yep. And he called his wife the old one.
Yes. And the poem, but that poem makes my wife cry every time she hears it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It is very sweet, and I hate the poem. And I would never tell her that. I would never tell her that because it's so moving to her.
I do a pretty good Jimmy Stewart impression, and I used to go on Twitter Spaces and talk about how he had post-traumatic stress from killing all those Japs.
Yeah.
Wow, it was going to crash a zero into the side of that ship, so I looked him right in his slanty little eyes, and I shot him.
I turned his head into pink mist.
And then I got to do it again in Korea. I was a colonel by then.
And he was a Chinaman, of course, but I called him a Jap anyway.
I got to bang Hedy Lamar.
My Jimmy Stewart kind of veers into Dr. Dugong a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but it is solid.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, really, it's just that Dr. Dugong's impression is Jimmy Stewart. So
I have cuttlefish.
Give me the cuttlefish. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we've gone very far afield from turning the Las Vegas sphere into a giant grenade. So
this is what people tune
and
in
you need a huge hand to pull the pin on that anyway. It's gotta just be.
Really, it's impractical. We could make just a bunch of really tiny hand grenades.
You could just make regular hand grenade. Yeah, you could make a huge amount of regular hand grenades. It'd be easier. So, it's a solution in search of a problem, if I'm being honest. Anyway, while the true nature of what happened at the convention may never be known, what is known that a few weeks later, McVeigh began compiling bomb-making materials and continued to do so for the next year. After leaving Las Vegas, that's a good movie. McVeigh continued on his travels, making sure to write to Steve Hodge regularly and rant to him about the tyranny of the federal government, and especially about what had happened at Waco. In one, he accused Steve of suffering from a learning disability. You're fucking retarded, Steve, he said, that prevented him from understanding the concept of liberty and the impending enslavement of mankind. You've got third world brain, Steve. You don't understand American ethos.
You've got Down syndrome. How about that?
I don't get it.
Norm Macdonald got in trouble for calling somebody retarded. So he said, okay, fine. Down syndrome.
Sorry. You've got Down syndrome. You've got an extra chromosome in the you got an extra 21st chromosome. Let's see. Concept of liberty and the impending enslavement of mankind. McVeigh, said Hammer, claimed that he was intentionally leaving behind an incriminating paper trail and had been ordered to do so. When Hammer asked why, McVeigh explained, "It had to be known that I hated the government. Even my own family had to believe my cover. Otherwise, I could have ended up dead before the mission was completed."
Poor Steve. He thinks that he's just trying to help his friend, but really he's being set up as a patsy.
Well, he's not really being set up as a patsy. He's being set up as a negative character witness.
Yeah, fair enough. But still, it's got to suck to be Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I swear to God, I'm psyoping you. It's fine. In a later iteration of Hammer's guilty agent story, not included in the first, McVeigh said that as he roamed the country after the Soldier of Fortune convention, he stopped at Executive Security International School, ESI, headquartered in Grand Junction, Colorado, a training facility that some of his former Gulf War colleagues were now associated with. ESI's promotional material describes it as a private school that provides training in executive protection, investigation, and intelligence operations, including anti-terrorism. Part of the privatized counterterrorism and security industry, with many locations throughout Colorado. In 1990, Management Review described ESI as the Harvard of bodyguard schools. For the most part, ESI instructors are ex-members of special forces, as well as former and current FBI, CIA, DEA, Secret Service, and local law enforcement agents. But other instructors have included editors of Soldier of Fortune magazine. One ESI instructor described it as a school for professional paranoids, but then added, "The line between paranoia and awareness is very fine." It's almost like wherever Christopher Sandbatch is, he just sneezed.
His ears just perked up.
Yeah. While it is unknown if McVeigh actually had any type of association with ESI, he could have. According to FBI investigatory reports as well as internal defense team records, very shortly after leaving Buffalo, McVeigh did travel to Boulder, Colorado, and set up a mailbox to which, for a time, he had his mail forwarded from boxes he'd opened in other states. This puzzled his attorneys, who wondered in an internal memo why he had been in Colorado for any length of time that would warrant his opening a mailbox there. Interestingly, ESI mentioned in James Gibson's book Warrior Dreams, Violence and Manhood in Post-Vietnam America as one of the growing number of security training mercenary schools that were popping up in the late 1980s and early 1990s that actively recruited at the annual Soldier of Fortune conventions.
They could have easily just opened up karate dojos.
Dude, sick karate dojos, teach people judo, and nunchucks.
Something
feel like
tells me that that man's name is not Tiger.
I
That
feel like
Tiger Sheldon is a nickname.
do you feel like nunchucks are just not as popular post 9/11 as they were before?
Yeah, they are the twin towers of weapons, aren't they?
That the unsung victims. What the machine that was making nunchucks cool was in Tower 7 for sure. Right?
I'm gonna again bring up that Seinfeld spec script, because Kramer's whole subplot is he's trying to get reimbursed for his box cutter that he lent to Mohammed Atta.
Yes, I remember that. And we still could theoretically do a table read of that.
In fact, we should.
All right. Let's see. Puzzled as attorneys. Interestingly, ESI is mentioned in James Gibson's book Warrior Dreams, Violence and Manhood in Post-Vietnam America as one of a growing number of security training mercenary schools were popping up in the late 80s and early 90s that actively recruited at the annual Soldier of Fortune conventions. In the fall of 1993, hey, that's the name of this chapter.
Wow.
McVeigh made his way to the home of Terry Nichols in Michigan, where he stayed until January, during which time he used Michigan rather than Kingman as the jumping off point for his continued travels.
Dude, how many miles did he put on his beater car?
No shit. He also began having an affair with Terry's wife, Murrah. Is that can't be right? That it's got to be a typo. There's no way her name is Murrah.
It's just Murrah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Marie. While Terry was at work.
Come on, Wendy. That's not even close.
Yeah. Terry's brother James described how during this time, McVeigh talked about the possibility that a secret shot he was administered in the Army had caused him to develop Gulf War syndrome. McVeigh, he said, had gone so far as to visit the VA hospital in Saginaw because his bones ached, his teeth hurt, his gums hurt. He had no energy and he was always tired. It kind of sounds like he's on meth.
Either that or he's just tired from plowing away at old Murrah.
Yeah, old Murrah.
It's like the only secret shot is the one that Tim's giving Murrah.
The back shots. That's right. He also voiced a suspicion that a tracking chip might have been injected in him, but when James suggested he go to the hospital to find out, McVeigh declined, saying it was unlikely they would tell him the truth even if they did find one, and the chip went to a different high school and was from Canada. James then suggested that he see a private doctor and even made an appointment with one on his behalf, but McVeigh backed off and failed to show up. James said he did not dismiss the idea out of hand because he and Terry had used tracking chips in their turkeys for years. James added that as an aside, and likely unaware of the guilty agent stories he was telling some people, that McVeigh had probably been under surveillance for the last couple years, and most likely his watchers opened a file on him when he went to Waco.
X-Guy Extra, you are 100% correct. That is not a typo. Her name is Murrah. She is Filipina. And yeah.
Holy shit, I love Terry Nichols now. My brother.
Now you don't let Gabe stay over your house.
Oh, I would never happen. I mean, I would never let Gabe inside my house. Other individuals, including a man in Michigan and one in Kansas, independently spoke to reporters about similar conversations he's had with McVeigh. One of them, Phil Morawski in Michigan, said McVeigh told him the government planted one of those chips that they have for identifying cattle, sheep, or goats, so the all-seeing eye of the government could keep an eye on him and know where he was. The chip, McVeigh complained, sometimes caused a real sharp pain in his rear. I'm gonna circle back to the Filipino wife of Terry Nichols. these guys were actively involved in the white power movements. Like they were
Never ask a right
associated with
winger.
it. I'm just saying if you like, and Phil and like flips, like, let's be real, man.
A lower
Asian,
tier.
they're
in
Asian
lives.
Latinas though. They're twofers. They're Asian Latinas.
The Filipinas and Filipinos in general are looked down upon by other Asians.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously because they're Asian Latinas,
Right.
right? So,
did you? Okay, so when I was on 4chan, this one lolcow was always brought up. Josh Luna, I think, and he's a Filipino dude, and
dude, he's on Twitter all the
he's
time,
the Asian
malding about.
identity guy, I think.
Yeah, he's constantly malding about getting cucked by white cock.
Boy, you really wanted to say cock. You couldn't just said white guys.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's about the BWC. I'm just saying. Ziria, actually, it's more based. It's fine when a white guy does it.
I didn't know that Terry Nichols was a libertarian.
It's amazing. Well, that's because you have a learning disability that stops you from being able to understand the meaning of liberty, which is fucking Asian women. So
you, Terry Nichols, and Art Bell are all brothers.
Thank you. Actually, yeah, no, that's just a thank you. Well, as far as the Art Bell thing goes, and also Terry Nichols didn't really like. He didn't do the bombing. No one says he did the bombing. So it's not glowing to say the association's fine, but Art Bell, that's just a big old compliment. That guy's America's sweetheart. Like his legend grows to in the telling even today, you know. And speaking of, everyone should go watch Catherine D, aka Default Friend. Watch her piece on Art Bell because it's real good. It's really good.
I need to. I can't believe I haven't.
Yeah. Let's see. Ziria, my roommate is Hapa because his mom is Korean, and it's because his dad, when he got back from the Korean War, divorced his wife and married a Korean woman.
It's so interesting how
that's a very awkwardly phrased. That's a very awkwardly phrased sentence, my friend.
Yeah.
But he's Hapa because his dad is
the Korean War. That was from the 50s. How old is your roommate?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Or maybe he got back.
My grandfather fought in Korea.
Yeah, maybe he just like got back. Maybe he got back and then age gapped married his wife and was with her for, another 50 years and then age gapped the fuck out of a 20-year-old Korean. Yeah, that'd be great. So his roommate is like, in his 20s because a 70-year-old man knocked up a 20-year-old Korean woman.
Yeah, and what's that lady's name who escaped North Korea and they got a boob job?
T.R. Hudson?
No.
Okay. I'm out of ideas then.
No, not Byung-Chul Han.
Byung-Chul Han is a philosopher in England, isn't he? Oh, Germany. Yeah, he works out of Germany. Anyway.
Yeonmi Park.
Okay. Man, there are so few Korean last names.
Yeah, there's Park.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Anyway. Park, and that's it. That's the only one I can think of, even though I just said Han.
Thank you, Penultimo. I appreciate it.
T.R. Hudson has beautiful natural tits. He doesn't need a boob job. That's true.
Yeah, TR stands for totally
and
real.
I was right. It was the age gap. He age gapped it. Good job, based Korean War veteran.
Yeah, just imagine basically Clint Eastwood getting together with Byung-Chul Han. Or sorry, Yeonmi Park.
Who is it? The current king of Jordan just met with Trump, and his wife is
like King Abdullah.
Yeah. But his wife is their age gap to hell, and he's way shorter than her. She's just an absolute fucking smoke show. The queens of Jordan are always absolute smoke shows.
Don't say that. I
What?
hate anyone who says smoke show because you're probably a douchebag.
You already hated me.
I know, but
anyway, she's hot as hell. And I'm just reminded, and she's also like 40 years younger than him. So it's an impressive feat. But I guess you get to do that when you're a king. So
yeah, when you're a king.
Also, Bill Belichick, I guess, just brought a 20-year-old to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but she looks like she's 40.
It was a little rough, wasn't it?
Like I mean, he's 70, so it's cool, but
I just wasn't clear on look, man, if your age
the
gap,
roughest looking 25-year-old.
If your age gap, right? If your age gap is like an early retirement, like people, someone could early retire at 50, right? If they over invested. But if your age gap is an early retirement, that's my limit. That's my limit personally. I think that's kind of pushing it. But I don't know. Maybe that's a radical position for me to take.
It is a radical position for you to take, Cap. I think that Bill Belichick can kind of do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. Titillating Rack Hudson.
That's me, Rack Hudson.
Titillating Rack Hudson.
Rock Hudson's not gay cousin. Rack Hudson.
Rack Hudson. All right. Moore told the FBI that he ran into McVeigh again at a gun show in Knob Creek, Kentucky during the first week of October, but that McVeigh mainly spoke with Kieran Anderson. On October 11th, 1993, McVeigh received a traffic ticket for passing on a double yellow line. Tisk, tisk. That's the worst thing he ever did in a car about 4 miles from Elohim City. In the Pack of Wolves, Watch Wolves, and Guilty Agent stories, McVeigh visited Elohim City and thus began the plot to bomb the Murrah Federal Building. The conspiracy involved McVeigh and a number of people associated with the White Power movement, WPM, words per minute. McVeigh's Pack of Wolves would consist of, among others, Stephen Colburn, mentioned, Michael Fortier, and to a lesser extent, Terry Nichols.
Do you mean Treasured Mutual Stephen
Colburn? But also a number of full-time and on-again, off-again residents of Elohim City, such as Andreas Strassmeyer, and most notably a group of racist bank robbers who called themselves the Aryan Republican Army. Ara? While the rudimentary details of the plot would have been discussed at the October 1993 planning session,
they had a breakout.
Yeah, you had a breakout room. Are you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? Yeah, you name it a planning session.
They went to the Jussie Smollett School of Planning Crime.
Right. It's like anyway. It was further developed during subsequent meetings, for which they kept detailed minutes. They would act within small isolated cells, each within a different purpose: funding, gathering material, bomb making, delivery. I'm not on the bomb making committee. Don't ask me about bomb making materials. I'm on the delivery committee. I do logistics. The chairman will hear seconds for the formation of a new committee to govern membership of the respective committees to make sure that committee seats are being fairly distributed. Do I have a second?
It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons with Hank Scorpio. Homer's on the some doomsday machine project, and he's talking about how his team is way ahead of the weather machine team.
Yeah,
great episode. You only move twice.
It's a good one. He's got a flamethrower in that one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he ends up owning. He wants to own the Dallas Cowboys. He ends up owning the Denver Broncos.
Tragic.
Back when they were bad.
Yeah, are they still bad? Or are
they're like okay now, I think.
Well, so he's reinvested in the team and made them a little better, huh?
Yep. Yeah, he
Hank Scorpio's, he's done some great things for the Denver Broncos, I hear. Anyway, while the rudimentary details of the plot would have been it was further developed subsequent meetings, bomb-making material, stupid committees, Robert's Rules of Order. Throughout the lead up to the bombing,
Marcus of Queensberry rules.
Marcus of Queensberry rules for the bombing of federal infrastructure. Throughout the lead up to the bombing, the conspirators used fake identification and referred to each other only by aliases. As they gathered the necessary materials and bomb-making components, hey, what do you think it would be like to refer to like people who you frequently collaborate with only through aliases? TR Hudson.
No idea. Capitalisimo. I mean, Gayalissimo. I mean, Cap.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know what that would be like.
It'd be funny if Tim introduced himself as Tim Tuttle in the meetings, and they were like, "Well, what's your code name?" He's like, "How about Tim McVeigh?"
That's my code. Well, actually, it's funny because in the official narrative, right, when he was fleeing and he got pulled over again for a regular, like for a just a random traffic stop, or it was like a failed to signal changing lanes or some bullshit. He used the alias that he had just used at the Dreamland Ranch and for the rental of the fucking Ryder truck. So if he had told them his real name,
he would have gotten away.
He would have gotten away, according to the official story.
Yeah, no, he was wearing, what was the shirt he was wearing? It was like Sic Semper Tyrannis.
It was like a picture. Yeah, it was a picture of Lincoln with Sic Semper Tyrannis on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, he had to change. His original T-shirt was, "I, Tim McVeigh, definitely blew up the Federal Building in Oklahoma City."
Yep. On this day, and he bought it at one of those places in the mall,
right?
Where you get shirts printed, or where you used to get shirts printed. I'm sure those things don't exist anymore. Not that I've been to a mall in years, but
he got an orange Julius.
Yeah, and the person at the T-shirt ordering business was like, "Huh, that's really specific. This is probably nothing." All right. Actually, we should probably copy that shirt and make it available.
Yeah.
We probably should. We should probably see if we can get like a good copy of it.
If we end up making all our money from T-shirts, I'm gonna be very mad.
Why?
Because I hate T-shirt companies like
that's
WBS Apparel.
That's where Kanye makes all his money, I hear. I didn't order one of those. I did order a couple things from his site though.
Yeah, now Bianca Sensori is going to get half of all that sweet T-shirt money.
Yeah, well, they're only she's probably not. There's no way that he didn't have like he's totally insane. So he like very well may not have done a prenup.
The only aspect of the prenup, because she didn't read it, was you get half my stuff if you do not appear buck naked at the Grammys. But nice. She did, and so now she's screwed.
Yep. Well, no, they're going to argue about what the exact meaning of buck is in the anyway. As they gathered the necessary materials and bomb-making components, false paper trails were laid in order to confuse investigators later. Cunning. Certain conspirators even acted as decoys or doubles of others. Double dealers, you might say. On the day of the bombing, the conspirators employed disguises and decoy rider trucks, thereby confusing eyewitnesses. So there were conspirators? Like what's like?
Come on, Wendy.
Like what do you mean? Like is the official narrative that there are conspirators or that there aren't? Like how many rider trucks were there? Funding for the bombing would come in part from bank robberies, some of which McVeigh would participate in. Mark Ham, brother to John Ham,
cousin of Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Luke Skywalker,
lover of Black Forest Ham, overlaid McVeigh's movements throughout the country from his time forward with those of the ARA bank robbers, and found that their locations often coincided. Sounding much like a conspiracy theorist himself, Ham said so many random coincidences have to be statistically impossible. There must have been some larger card at play. A review of Ham's 2002 book noted that through a process akin to placing layers of the same film animation frame on top of each other, a remarkable series of concurrent and complementary events that fit so snugly together it became hard, if not impossible, to regard them as simple coincidences.
That's some bullet.
That is some bullet. Oh, yeah. Speaking of bullets,
Yes.
we completely didn't mention that who was the representative?
They put a bimbo in charge of JFK.
They put a bimbo in charge. Well, which is appropriate, am I right?
Her name is Luna.
Yeah, she's like a state rep. She's a member of Congress. Whatever, Luna. She's a fucking smoke show, Hudson. She's a fucking smoke show. How do you feel about it? Smoke show.
I mean, I just, I think
she's not hard on the eyes, but she is a little hard on the ears. She could have used a teleprompter, is what I'm saying. I'm saying she's white Kamala.
Like, basically, we're just gonna like totally find out who like killed JFK.
Yeah, and like personally, I think it would be crazy if there was.
I'm gonna go and
there were two shooters, and one of them, I'm pretty sure, was black.
Just saying.
Just saying. They do shoot a lot.
Like, I mean, they're what, like 13% of the population?
I was looking at the FBI crime statistics, and did you know? Yeah, but basically, it is. So she dropped that.
She just like passively said, "I'm pretty sure there were two shooters."
I'm pretty sure there were two shooters. Yeah, and it's like, okay. And then that's going to be coming out when? It's like, oh yeah, really soon. It's like, you fucking, how the fuck do you not just have it? How the fuck do you say this and then not have it immediately available? But yeah, so the JFK files are coming out and they're already dropping bangers. That is going to be so interesting.
And we're going to be here. We're going to be here for it. They're going to go through the censorship bureau for certain allies in the Middle East. And then we're going to find out that North Korea actually killed
North
JFK.
Korea did it. Whoa. Wow. Yeah, it was suicide.
Whoa, Iran? You mean before Iran was a country?
It was the Shah of Iran who did it. They're going to release it and they're going to say, look, Lee Harvey Oswald was innocent. It was a suicide. And we just wanted to spare the family. Sorry.
JFK killed him.
RFK Jr. is just going to be crying. I can't believe my uncle did this.
I
can't believe my uncle would take his own life. Yeah. Anyhow,
I tried to shoot myself to get rid of my brain worm. It didn't work. Yeah, you could do like Jimmy Stewart, but like who has mesothelioma, and that's probably RFK Jr.
It's pretty close. Yeah. Let's see here. To his attorneys and biographers, McVeigh denied having ever been to Elohim City. At the time he received the October 1993 speeding ticket, he said he and Terry Nichols were simply on their way to a gun show in Indiana. In the months to come, though, he bragged.
And then he put up his arms and flexed.
Yes, like he was, and then they clapped. So let's see here. Terry Nichols simply on their way. Gotcha. In the months to come, though, he bragged to his sister about his involvement with a group of bank robbers, and at one point even asked her to launder money, telling her it was proceeds from a bank robbery. He said it in writing. In the letter, he claimed to be generating funds for the revolution through robbing banks.
Your boyfriend came to your defense.
What?
Mike of Pole DM'd me and he said, by the way, smoke show is a good phrase and you can rape yourself if you think otherwise. In all caps. I told him to fuck
Did
off.
he? He just DM'd you, and you're
Yes,
just
he did.
sharing private communication.
I am.
Wow, Hudson, untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Also, Mike, I'm glad you're recovering. You could just type that in the comments. Like we have a chat scrolling.
Oh no, now he's mad at me.
Well, you
He's
deserve
getting
it.
this in real time.
You mostly deserve it because you're answering DMs while you're supposed to be working. You know, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean, Hudson. And this show is fucking filthy.
If you have time to DM, you have time to build this bomb. Come on.
You have time to build this bomb. Man, everyone is just everyone in chat is just laying in on Representative Luna.
Yeah,
holy shit.
That's what I was looking into.
Yeah.
Yes, she's the Diablo Cody of Congress in that she's most known for having used to be a stripper.
Yes, tragic. She went into work at the brothel called Congress.
Wow, that's really good commentary.
This is the most. It's the most normal thing I have ever seen King Salmon Fish say, and I absolutely agree. But yeah. Anyway, so she's a smoke show. All right. Yeah. So she has to. So he asks his sister to launder money in a letter. Boy, which someone kept. Like she kept the letter. I guess. It's just
which
like
is, nice. It's like I might need this for later.
Yeah.
She filed it under "Don't show to the FBI."
Yeah, indeed, for "Don't show to the FBI." In the letter, he claimed to be generating funds for the revolution through robbing banks. He had friends who, like him, were at war with the system. Bank robbers weren't criminals, he explained, except for the robbing of banks. The banks and the Federal Reserve were the real criminals who controlled people through worthless paper. Bank robbers were more like Robin Hood and our government, the evil king.
I used Robin Hood for a while, and I tried to buy a GME, and they told me I couldn't.
They stole my dividends from a Yield Max account. They literally, I owned it on the ex-dividend date and on the pay date, and they absolutely never gave me the money.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, those bastards.
I'm glad. It's funny when they do it to you, but not so much to me.
Okay. So I've accidentally given Robinhood a redemption arc because they cost me money. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. After his arrest, he told his attorneys that he and Terry Nichols had thrown around the idea of robbing banks and even cased one bank in an attempt to ascertain the schedule for armored car deliveries, as this was the only time the bank vaults would be opened. In the end, though, they never got around to actually robbing banks. In a taped 3-day-long conversation with his biographers toward the end of his life, he gave contradictory responses when asked about his involvement with bank robberies. In one candid moment very early on in the interview session, he responded by saying that, yes, there had been a bank robbery, but quickly instructed them to leave it at that. Tim refused to offer more information except to say that everything had been planned down to the most minute detail. The things that could not be planned, that's part of the fun. Much later in the 3-day interview, when asked again about the bank robberies, he said there weren't any. Just fucking with you, bud.
Yeah, something about Gen X guys, especially at this time, planning bank robberies is really funny to me. It's like the guys from Clerks trying to do anything.
What?
Oh, I'm calling Gen Xers lazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, I mean, bank robberies were objectively easier in the 90s. Like you could actually rob banks in the 90s. I mean, the North Hollywood shootout thing is like its own whole process, own whole story about a bank robbery. But there were like a shitload of bank robberies that led up to that one. So it's not unbelievable that like a random schmo would be able to carry out one or more.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that crime is actually really easy.
I mean, it depends. It depends on the type of crime, I'm sure. You know. Still, an FBI report from May 1995 details their investigation of a California bank robber whose modus operandi was very similar to that believed to have been used by subject McVeigh and his associates. At least one of the ARA bank robbers has publicly stated that he had no doubt whatsoever that members of the gang were involved in the bombing. For some reason, though, the FBI destroyed surveillance tapes that captured the ARA bank robberies at a time when legal proceedings and criminal trials related to the robberies were ongoing. The FBI and prosecutors chose not to make a big deal about the bank robbery connection, perhaps because, as was later learned, there was more than one federal informant embedded in the gang. Huh. Crazy.
Okay, so of our circle, who do you think is a Fed?
I mean, you?
Oh,
crud.
I've been
probably
found
Mike
out.
of Pole.
Yeah.
Sandbatch.
No, Sandbatch is definitely not. If he's the only one I am certain is not one.
I think probably everyone in the chat is a Fed. Everyone who hasn't said anything and is still watching is a Fed. The only way I can be certain
anyone who runs away is a Fed. Anyone who stands still is a well-disciplined Fed.
The only people who aren't Feds super chat us. Those are the only non-Fed people. And given that we haven't received any this week, I am gonna assume that everyone's a Fed. That's
a lot
the
of
rule.
Feds in the chat.
That's so true. And actually, other than salmon fish without giving any money, is definitely not a Fed. That is true. And Penultimo is the biggest Fed because he is in a different country, and everyone outside of the United States is also a Fed. If USAID taught us anything, so let's see here. On October 20th, 1993, 8 days after receiving the ticket near Elohim City, McVeigh sent his sister a guilty agent-themed letter. Wow, they make greeting cards for everything nowadays, don't they?
Well, I saw the other day that they make work husband and work wife Valentine's Day cards. Hallmark is trying to create divorces, I guess, to sell more cards.
No shit. That is wild. Yeah, wouldn't ever do that. Not that I have a work husband or a work wife. But
am I your work husband, Cap?
No, absolutely not. We have
You're certainly not my work wife.
We don't have a meaningful relationship, Hudson, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, that is you're breaking my heart.
You're breaking my heart. I thought we really had something. I guess you are my work wife, Hudson. It was a test. You passed.
Okay.
See, I'm playing with your emotions, which means I really am your work husband.
Oh, husband. You spend money on bunch of t-shirt no one buy. Now we homeless.
Homeless. No, they're print to order, so no.
Oh, we're getting comments on Twitter, by the way. You need to learn how to integrate that.
It is integrated. I don't understand why they aren't showing up. Like we're streaming on Twitter through. Yeah, we're streaming directly on Twitter. Who the hell is? Hold on.
It's just me and Sandbatch.
It's just you and Sandbatch. Get on YouTube, damn it. So. And also, if you're on Twitter, I mean, feel free to keep watching. But if you do want to talk to us, YouTube is by far the easiest, I think.
So far, we haven't figured out a way to get paid on Twitter. So,
well, apparently, I can sell T-shirts directly on Twitter as well. So it shows up as a pane under streams and on my profile. So we'll get that working. But anyhow.
Oh, good. Oh, finally, they came up.
FedTube, there we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's what Terry Schiavo needed.
They're finally appearing.
You didn't like my Terry Schiavo joke?
You know what? I kind of forgot about who that was, but I remember now she was a vegetable, right?
Yeah, and she had a feeding tube.
Yeah, but someone thought that she was still like not brain dead, that she was like locked in or something.
I have no idea. I just know that during the Bush administration, in between the war and everything else, he like said, "Hey, you need to like keep this woman alive."
Yeah, that's
I
right.
watched a lot of news when I was a child. Probably wasn't good for my development.
I watched a lot of nudes when I was a child. Was not good for my development. I developed a
A certain flavor.
I developed a fetish in my youth, trying to watch boobs descramble on a
Cathode ray tube monitor.
on the CRT, on CRT televisions. You see, back then you used to have cable boxes, and they weren't digital. So
Or TiVo.
No, TiVo didn't exist.
TiVo existed in '99, actually.
Well, TiVo didn't exist when I went through puberty. So yeah. Anyway, watching cinema, trying to watch see boobs on Cinemax descramble occasionally.
Watching Comedy Central at 3 a.m. and the Girls Gone Wild commercial goes on. I remember.
Amazing. Yep, you got
You
2
hear that
minutes.
steel
You got
drum.
2 minutes to crank one out.
You hear that steel drum music.
Yeah.
Bad times.
Why isn't Girls Gone Wild a thing anymore? Oh, because everyone has a fucking video. Everyone has a fucking video camera in their pocket. Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Guilty agent themed letter, which, while filled with hyperbolic political rants, also encapsulated a story that he would tell in private later, and others would expand on publicly after his arrest. In it, he said he desperately needed someone to understand him, and she was probably the only person who could comprehend or accept what he was about to say. Part of the reason he seemed so secretive was because he was honest about what he was doing and why they'd think I was wacko. No one has heard this before, because I realize in the normal world, what I have to say sounds very unbelievable and crazy. He realized he needed to touch grass. He realized it.
And really, it was the fertilizer under the grass that he ended up touching.
That's what he ended up wanting to touch. Yep. Came for the grass, stayed for the fertilizer. Then he laid out the story of how during the Special Forces tryout, he was recruited into an undercover unit to do some work for the government on the domestic as well as international front. The unit would be acting as military consultants, working hand in hand with civilian police agencies to quiet anyone deemed a security risk. They would fund their many covert operations through illegal actions, including drug running. His quitting the army and his claims of becoming disillusioned by the Special Forces were only a cover story. While living at home and working at Burns, he found it increasingly difficult to keep his secret and pretended that I didn't know what I knew. Eventually, unable to live with this information bottled up inside of me and his feeling vacillating between rage, acceptance, and denial, he considered committing suicide, leading to the incident at their grandfather's house. Because of the nature of what he now knew, my life may be at risk if he exposed it, which is why he was telling only her. This all sounds like a way to fuck her, by the way.
That's his sister. Sick bastard.
I mean, he's had a rough life. It could be, could be a little weird. The newspaper clippings he sent shortly after leaving Buffalo about Lawrence Friedman, the special ops operator killed in Somalia, had been a clue. He begged her not to tell anybody, because if she did, it would very honestly, seriously endanger my life. He lamented that my whole family thinks I'm mentally deficient, which is part of the game. It's like a great weight has been lifted off my shoulders to finally tell someone. I needed someone to know in case I'm found floating in a river. Later, his attorneys, referring to this particular letter, opined, if this is a lie, Tim is one good liar.
I will say that Tim really did miss out on his calling to be one of those military fiction writers. Like, he could easily be Jack Carr, or even like a Tom Clancy type.
Yeah, except he thought that, like, Except he thought that the Turner Diaries was good writing.
Yeah, but like already his letters to his sister are much better written than the Turner Diaries.
Fair enough. All right.
You
All
know.
right. Well, these are edited as well. Like,
Oh,
you know,
all he needed was a good editor.
or a modestly skilled editor like whoever they gave Wendy. In a letter that followed soon after, he told her that he had documentation to support his claims and had additional things he wanted to tell her, but would rather do it in person. In fact, he wrote, I spend most of my time gathering and amassing evidence. Maybe someday I'll have a chance to show some or all of you. Maybe it would be a mistake to show you all that now anyway. I don't want to fuck up your future. Good job, bud. He then informed her that he was on the run, trying to keep my path cool, as since he already knew too much, someone might come looking for him and try to shut him up. He was establishing a network of friends and now had ears all over the country, so that if someone did come looking for him, he would hear about it through the grapevine and disappear into the underground.
Wow, Tim was the first MySpace user.
He closed the letter by saying that just writing the letter had brought back a lot of memories for him. It doesn't even seem like it could happen to me, that I've been everywhere I've been, done everything I've done, seen and heard everything I have. I know it must have been 10 times harder for you to grasp. You dumb woman, he said.
I know with your small female brain and the fact that you're related to our mother means that you can't possibly understand what I'm going through.
I know it's impossible for you to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth as a lady with your smooth, supple lady brains.
Also, you're not hearing them, you're reading them on the paper.
You must remember these are different things.
And when you're remembering me, remember, these are all made up in your head. I'm not actually talking.
This is just your internal monologue.
Try to make the apple rotate in your head.
Just imagine a picture. Don't actually go and get an apple. Jennifer later told the FBI that that for a number of reasons she believed what he was telling her, and his mother said he told her a similar story. It is unclear what he was telling her, though. Was he amassing evidence against his network of friends or the government's corruption? Did he know too much about the undercover mission and now abandon it, or too much about the evils of the government, or both, or something else entirely? When he said he was expecting to fund covert operations through illegal activities, did he really mean fund the bombing through bank robberies? Most have read these letters as fairy tales spun by McVeigh, perhaps in an attempt to impress her. True, partly true, or totally fabricated, it is at this juncture that the guilty agent story breaks off into a new strand, one in which McVeigh rejects his role and, like the A-Team, is hunted by the government and forced to stay on the run. Yeah, he doesn't have a black friend though, so yep. You gotta have a black friend. You gotta build a team. You gotta have a
Family
black
Guy
buddy.
taught me that. You need a real black guy.
You need a real black guy. On November 22nd, 1993, I actually learned that from Ernest Goes to Camp last night.
I was going to ask, how did that go?
Ernest Goes to Camp was better than Meatballs. Yeah, as a film, it was.
What about Ernest Goes to Elohim City?
Ernest Goes to Elohim City. I don't believe. I think that was just a spec script.
Sorry, no, that was just Jim Varney on the weekend.
That was a spec script that you could write. Also, Jim Varney. I don't think Jim Varney was actually like a. I don't think he was actually like a country boy. I'm pretty sure Jim Varney was like actually went to acting school and shit.
Wow, imagine going to Juilliard and then you're Ernest P. Worrell.
Hey man, he was pretty good. He was pretty good.
What was
that movie that he like played a villain in some movie too? I don't know. I got to IMDb Jim Varney after
Yeah.
this.
Well, no, what was it Reuben Stevens, the guy that played Pee-wee Herman?
Paul Rubens.
Paul Rubens, right? Imagine they're both in like Juilliard together and like, all right, we're gonna make it big one day.
We're gonna be Shakespearean actors. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it just ended up being it's like, oh, we just had these weird roles. Wow. This is very sad. Jim Varney's last role before he died, it was a posthumous
James
release,
Bond.
was in Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Damn, who was he?
Cookie.
That's sad. That was
I didn't realize he was Slinky Dog in Toy Story either.
Oh man.
Interesting.
Wow, so they've digitally recreated him for Toy Story 3. That's messed up.
That's horrible. How could they do that to the poor man?
Either that or Family Guy was right, and they did bring Jim Varney back to life.
I mean, I don't know. He's basically Jim Varney and Jim Carrey have very similar humor styles of acting and comedy.
Jim Varney in The Mask would have been good.
He totally could have done that. Anyway,
smoking.
Hey, Vert, this is a weird mask. All right, let's see. California Bankrupt. I completely lost my place.
I think we're on November 22nd.
On November 22nd, 1993, while staying at the home of Terry and Murrah. Okay, you know what? That was definitely her real name. Murrah. How is it Murrah rather than Murrah? I'm pretty sure it's Murrah.
Anyway, the knife.
Timothy McVeigh found their infant son, Jason, dead, having apparently accidentally suffocated in a plastic bag. Oh my God.
Wow.
He tried to revive the boy and at the same time call Murrah, but to no avail. McVeigh said that while all of this was happening, he snapped into combat mode. After failing to resuscitate Jason, he called the police and in the meantime placed his lifeless body on, he later realized, the very same spot where he had stood months earlier watching the fires at Waco kill the children inside. When the police arrived, he identified himself as Tim Tuttle, but later said this was accidental, a force of habit. Gwen Strider, the aunt of McVeigh's friend Kevin Nicholas, who became a sort of motherly figure for McVeigh in Michigan, recalled that Jason's death ripped Tim completely apart. His inability to save Jason devastated him. He had loved the baby, eaten with him, played with him, taken care of him, and for a week after the incident, had not been himself. Like many people who knew him throughout his life, Gwen said that McVeigh was great with children, and children, including her own, loved him. After the bombing, rumors of foul play arose. McVeigh killed him to keep Terry Nichols in check. James Nichols and McVeigh killed him because the child was racially mixed. As McVeigh recounted the incident in great deal to his biographers years later, he sometimes slipped into the present tense. Interesting. The month after Jason's death, McVeigh visited a dentist in Marlette, Michigan, about an hour from Nichols' farm. Soon after, he used the alias Tim Tuttle when he purchased nitromethane, sold as a model airplane fuel, at a hobby shop in Marlette.
Okay. How much you want to bet that Jason was his son?
I bet he wasn't.
Alrighty.
And I don't want to wager anything because there's no way we can find out the answer to that.
We'll have Murrah on the show.
Yeah, we'll find Terry Nichols and ask him if his dead son was the product of cuckoldry, and I'm sure that will go over great.
Well, I don't know if he'll have that many minutes on his jail phone card.
Oh yes, he's serving life, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hey,
maybe we can put a couple bucks on his commissary card.
Let's get it commuted.
The only thing he did wrong was sit in the corner and watch.
This is the ultimate cuckold, isn't he? Like he really is. Like
somebody else took credit for his explosion.
Yeah. He is at
He was bomb
East
cocked.
Penitentiary, Florence Administrative Maximum Facility. Wow, he is just like in the middle of a desert in a prison. Yep. I mean, he'd be easy to find. We could ask him. Yeah, I wonder where Murrah Nichols is.
Probably back in the Philippines.
Wow, they deported her after he went to prison.
She's self-deported.
Yep. Yeah, that's fucking tragic though. It's horrible.
Yeah, I didn't need to. Wendy, you didn't have to put that in there.
Yeah, Johnny Spaceman, terrible toy. Winter to summer 1994. In January 1994, McVeigh called Roger Moore's ranch in Arkansas to announce that he was passing through town and was hoping to stop by and stay the night. Moore was in Florida at the time, but his girlfriend, Karen Anderson, was there and told him that would be fine. Anderson told the FBI that she let McVeigh sleep in her bedroom and she slept in a different bedroom. Given McVeigh's history of sleeping with his friends, girlfriends, and wives, questions later arose about the actual sleeping arrangements. The red-headed Anderson was a firecracker, just the kind of incendiary men who frequented gun shows might like. McVeigh told Hammer that Anderson had a reputation for sleeping with the young men she met on the gun show circuit, entrapping them in her senior citizen sex web. What the fuck? By showing them the bootlegged porn she and Moore secretly sold. In Hammer's account, Anderson tried to hire McVeigh and his bank robber friends to kill Moore. What the fuck? I'm so confused by entrapping them in her senior citizen sex web. You don't hear much about senior citizen sex webs much anymore. McVeigh has always claimed he was just passing through Arkansas on the way to a gun show. Nothing unseemly had happened between them, sexual or otherwise. Moore, however, grew jealous of the attention she lavished on him, a circumstance that put further strain on their relationship. Mark Ham suggests that Anderson facilitated communications between McVeigh and other participants of the bombing, pointing out that she knew Elohim City resident Andy Strassmeyer and ARA bank robber Richard Guthrie. Anderson herself testified in court that during this visit, she urged McVeigh to contact Stephen Colburn, who in Ham's estimation played a crucial role in the Oklahoma bombing conspiracy. Man, Stephen Colburn not beating those John Doe number 2 allegations. That is for sure. Either way, Anderson's assertion that McVeigh called the house shortly before he arrived was curious because that call, along with other calls Moore and Anderson claimed McVeigh made to their house, was not found on the Darrell Bridges calling card records. This was significant because part of the FBI and prosecutors' justification for dismissing the possibility of additional conspirators was their logically unsound belief that, in Roger Charles's words, the Darrell Bridges phone records could track anything and everything related to the plot. If the calling card records didn't show a call, then McVeigh must not have made it. That the records shed light on the plot is not in question, but the records themselves, which nearly defined the structure of the government's case against McVeigh, did not reveal who made the calls, nor did they preclude the use of alternate methods of communication. In February 1994, McVeigh once more established himself in Kingman and, except for countless road trips to locations throughout the country, remained there until that summer. In a letter to his sister during this time, he wrote that seeing as it's been more than 2 years since I got out of the Army, things may well be okay now, but told her that if anyone unusual came looking for him, she should contact him at Fortier's trailer in Kingman. One is left to wonder what would be okay now and why would it matter when he got out of the Army? Who was going to come looking for him? Why did he keep warning people about this possibility? Was he delusional, paranoid? If he was being honest in the letter, then he had abandoned his undercover mission and went rogue, making him a guilty agent in a pack of watched wolves. If that was the case, it seems unlikely that his handlers would have forgiven him for this, even if it had been 2 years. If McVeigh was indeed a guilty agent and had carried out orders up until the day of the bombing, as he would claim to others, including his first attorneys, Then this letter was a cover story. He realized he had already told his sister too much and had to somehow fix the damage by telling her he quit his secret mission, only to, as Hammer claims, continue with it. McVeigh told his biographers that knowing he was about to go afoul of the law in a big way, he told her these things as a way of trying to preemptively mitigate her inevitable disappointment in him. The problem with this is that he'd been telling variations of the guilty agent story, letting details of it slip out here and there, and warning about the people who'd come looking for him before he had ever left the Buffalo area, somehow preemptively covering his tracks before he even knew why he would need to. During his stay in Kingman throughout the early to mid 1994, McVeigh briefly worked at another security company, then with 48 at a local True Value hardware store, and continued to ply his wares at gun shows. During this time, he became friends with Walter Mac McCarty, a Korean War USMC veteran who earned his living by giving shooting lessons and was known for organizing local gun control protests. McCarthy told the Sunday Times of London that McVeigh, whom he knew as Tuttle, seemed like two distinctly different people. In public, he was quiet and polite and had a big, easy smile, but other times, especially when talking about politics, he snapped and got real mean and savage. He was one highly strung young man. I don't think I've ever saw anyone with such hatred in him. He was bitter about just about everything. I tell you, he was running right on edge. He had even watched his young friend cry while they watched a video about Waco. He described McVeigh as impressionable and opined that frustrated men like McVeigh make great brainwashing material. Wow. This guy just laid it out. Just laid it out like that, did he? Just really loved the brainwashing material. I don't know. Who do you think makes great brainwashing material, Hudson? Young, impressionable, sensitive young men, even?
Yes, I believe that we can get Gabe to commit
MK
violent acts.
Gabe is the only one who's not an FBI agent. Until Cash Patel
only because he asked to be and they said no.
Only because
you have
they
to
don't
shower in order to work for the FBI.
They don't hire Croatians. Is the problem. Let's see here.
I will say, Gabe, as to your comment, I was thinking we could make a Mickey Moose t-shirt.
We are not making a Mickey's Moose hangers.
MICKEYMOOSE.
Yeah, we could make a bowling. I mean, I don't know. We probably can't because Mickey McVeigh may well still be alive, and it might be considered in poor taste to make a t-shirt about how she was a whore when she was young. I don't know. She might be dead. Who knows? Probably only Timothy McVeigh's sister is alive. So, yeah.
Bowling alley attendant.
Yep. We'll polish your balls, Mickey McVeigh. No one's gonna buy that fucking t-shirt. In early 1994,
how to make what was the drink that she liked? Not a 7 and 7. Oh, whiskey sours. Yeah,
whiskey sours.
Sour.
It's just Rosie's lime. Yeah, it's like just Rosie's lime and whiskey. That's it. Those are the ingredients. Anyway, in early 1994, McVeigh rented a house in the outlying town of Golden Valley, located just yards from a former member of the Arizona Patriots and current ranking member of the local National Alliance, who said McVeigh attended 2 of their meetings that he knew of. In one strange and unsubstantiated variation of the experimental wolf story, while at a disabled veterans group in Kingman, McVeigh met Mike Gadbaugh, an older Vietnam veteran whom he let stay at his Golden Valley house. Gadbaugh, who remained in the house for several years after McVeigh's execution. So this guy just squatted there. Okay. Got it. Said that the local VA had used both he and McVeigh as guinea pigs. McVeigh never mentioned anyone named Gadbaugh, and 48 testified that McVeigh lived alone in the Golden Valley house. But Gadbaugh lived there afterwards, so what's the...
It was just one of his meth friends.
Yeah, it was just his meth buddy. All right. McVeigh's mother, Mickey. There we
All right.
go. There you go.
Mickey mentioned.
Mickey McVeigh McMentioned. Mickey
She was
believed that the
mentioned.
Mick mentioned. Believed that the FBI and others began watching her and her family at this time in anticipation of the bombing. James Rosencrantz said it was during this time that it became obvious to more than one person in the Kingman area, including McVeigh himself, that he was being watched. On more than one occasion, McVeigh had pointed out surveillance vehicles he said were following him. By association, McVeigh's friends and associates, okay, including Rosencrantz and Fortier, had also been under surveillance. Were the watchers related to the people McVeigh said might be coming for him? I mean, yeah, one would think so. It's probably the FBI, you would guess. Let's see. Maybe Gadbaugh was confused about who he lived with. After all, a number of alternate or double McVeighs emerged in the Kingman area during his extended stays there, and this would happen in many other locations at an increasing frequency in the months to come. Bob Reagan, the man who owned the trailer park where McVeigh lived the summer before, told the New York Times that McVeigh was an ideal tenant. However, in an earlier Times article on April 23rd, 1995, Reagan was quoted as saying that his former tenant McVeigh acted like an arrogant loner, always wore army fatigues, played loud music, threw beer cans, had a barking dog, and a pregnant girlfriend. Although most quickly dismissed this as a case of mistaken identity and chalked it up to Reagan's confusion, FBI and defense team reports confused the issue. So there was like this, he had a little arc there where he had a pregnant girlfriend and was like a loud hillbilly. I mean, I like that. I like that.
Many such cases.
I like that arc. Yeah, exactly.
So you're telling me that that Jim Varney could have played Timothy McVeigh?
Oh my god, poor Jim Varney.
R.I.P. Jim.
He was a children's entertainer who didn't do anything wrong. You know, every single time that happens, you gotta just like respect him. You gotta just respect the man.
It's him, Mr. Rogers, and Jimmy Savile.
Well, I have terrible news about Jimmy Savile.
Oh no!
Oh no! What did Jimmy Savile do? Yes, yeah, massive, noted massive pedophile, Jimmy Savile.
No, I'm talking about Jimmy Savile, the British comedian.
Yes, noted massive pedophile, Jimmy Savile.
No, he hung out with the Queen.
Yes,
he was knighted.
Noted massive pedophile, Jimmy Savile.
Prince Andrew would have told me about this.
Terrible news about Prince Andrew. Noted modest ephebophile, Prince Andrew.
This is gonna break Ghislaine Maxwell's heart.
Noted pedophile. What? I mean, accomplice? I don't know. What would we say Ghislaine Maxwell did?
Oh no. Does Robert Maxwell, her father and not Mossad agent, know about this?
I have terrible news. He was a Mossad agent.
Oh God, I'm learning so much tonight.
Yep.
Next, you're going to tell me that George Herbert Walker Bush knows exactly where he was the day Kennedy was shot.
I'm pretty sure he does, and I'm pretty sure it's in the FBI files.
Ah, crap.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that noted comedian Trevor Moore died because he knew too much about kitty history. It's exactly like ours.
I'm actually convinced that one's real.
Oh, you think so?
Yep, him and Isaac Cappy.
I don't know who Isaac Cappy is, actually.
Oh, Isaac Cappy was, he was like a minor Hollywood guy. He was in a few movies, and he started live streaming about various pizza-related things. And he called out Tom Hanks by name. And then Tom Hanks posted this really weird Instagram post the same day that Cappy apparently committed suicide.
What was the post?
Oh, it was something about like because what Tom Hanks does is like he'll take a picture of a random glove.
This is what you fucking get, Isaac Cappy.
Yeah, no, he tagged Isaac Cappy in a post that said "Bon Voyage."
So he'll take a random picture and
he'll take a picture of just a glove, a glove without a second glove with it, so just one glove, and then he'll like put some pretentious post next to it. I don't know. It's been a while since I saw the mouthy Buddha video, so forgive me for forgetting the exact details.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think Trevor Moore probably didn't fall off that balcony.
Who's to say that he injected that heroin?
Who's to say that he shot himself 4 times in the back of the head? Who's to say?
He fell down an elevator shaft onto a bunch of bullets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a damn shame. Damn shame. Happens more every day.
I did not know that Robert Maxwell also owned McGraw-Hill Publishing.
Wow. Yeah, I did not know that either.
Thank you, Norm Macdonald.
Thank you, Lucky Stabbin' Hat. Yes. Who is not secretly Norm Macdonald, surviving to this very day.
Norm Macdonald, as he likes to be called.
Macdonald. The worst part about the child sex rings?
Hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy. That's the worst part.
I thought it was the child rape.
Yeah, but the hypocrisy stings the most. Unless you're a child who's been molested. All right. Gabe. This is why these live streams aren't monetized, by the way.
Yeah, no, there's good reason why we need your super chats.
Let's see here. Some sort of all right. Reagan wasn't the only one who made such claims. A man who worked with McVeigh at the State Security Services in the summer of 1993, during the time he lived in Reagan's trailer, told the FBI that McVeigh was fired about 2 months and added, as an aside, that he was involved with an underage girl. About a year later, in the summer of 1994, McVeigh briefly had another job in Kingman, guarding a warehouse distribution center. His supervisor there told the FBI that although McVeigh quit the job on good terms, he thought McVeigh was a creep. And while he worked there, a rumor was floating around that McVeigh hung out with an underage girl who was between 6 and 8 months pregnant. A co-worker at the Kingman hardware store he worked at told the FBI that McVeigh sometimes attended community bingo games in Golden Valley, and on more than one occasion showed up to bingo night accompanied by another man and a very pregnant female who seemed to be in some sort of relationship with McVeigh. They made the other players nervous because McVeigh and the other man openly wore their handguns into the bingo hall.
Nobody's cheating tonight.
Ain't none of these old fogies cheating tonight. You don't have bingo. You just have bigo.
That's his name-o.
Yep. A bewildered defense team noted the number of such reports in the Kingman area and mentioned another FBI report they had come across detailing a 16-year-old pregnant girl who lived across the street from 40A and had been seeing and smoking meth with McVeigh while pregnant. Amazing.
And it's funny because, before he got to town, she was just a 16-year-old girl.
The defense wondered whether McVeigh was the father of any of these babies. In a private discussion between his sister and mother after the bombing, Mickey asked Jennifer about the rumors of Tim having had a pregnant girlfriend. Jennifer, not knowing the FBI was bugging the room, responded that she didn't believe it because, as far as she knew, there never was a girlfriend. Interestingly, the 1994 sightings coincided with one of McVeigh's visits to Las Vegas, during which he applied for a job at Loomis Armored Car Company. On the application, McVeigh disclosed his debts and said that they were the fault of a girlfriend who ran up his credit cards. He took the required psychological examination, but did not get the job.
What'd you get on your psych test, Tim? Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. Adding to the confusion are ATF and FBI reports detailing the numerous conversations with Richard Rogers, who lived in the Kingman area. Rogers claimed he met McVeigh after picking him up hitchhiking about 30 miles outside of Kingman, and over a period of about a year and a half had several sexual encounters with him.
What?
Yep. While the veracity of this story is unknown, it is interesting that both the FBI and ATF conducted several interviews with Rogers. His lurid stories were humorously fascinating, though. So one can see why. David Paul Hammer, unaware of these reports, claimed McVeigh sometimes expressed attraction to males and had sexual identity problems. Given all the confusion over which McVeigh was which, even among people he saw on a daily basis, it would seem he had a number of identity problems beyond those of a sexual nature.
Timothy McVeigh was not gay, but
Timothy
Tim Tuttle was.
Timothy McGay.
I will say that if he indeed hitchhiked 30 miles, probably
through a
means
desert,
probably means he made it through his special forces tryout, especially if he's strung out on meth at the time.
Yeah, although
meth heads can do anything.
Meth heads can do anything, and also meth heads do, like, meth rewires people's sexual stuff. Like, people will do gay shit on meth.
Is that why Garvin thinks Hitler was gay?
Because of the meth thing?
Yeah.
No, I think it's probably because of that one thing that Yarvin has with his heritage.
Right, yeah, because Yarvin's Italian. That's right.
Of course, that's because his it's the dark elf blood.
All I'm saying is, if the I in APAC stood for Italy, FBI'd be all over it.
Oh man, that would be so awesome. God, I wish. Oh God, I've seen what you've done for other people, and I want that for me.
You want your own APAC?
I want it to stand for Irish and Italian. That's what. Pregnant girlfriend, gay lover or no, or maybe because of them, McVeigh quit his job and left the Kingman area and continued his extraordinarily itinerant lifestyle and barely stopped moving, frantically crisscrossing the country in his car, and paid for everything in cash. His friends, family, and former co-workers had no idea where he was and could only get in touch with him through his Kingman mailbox, the one Stephen Colburn was about to start using with McVeigh's authorization. Man, McVeigh is on a fucking, like, a Bethesda quest.
Dude, how much does it cost to open a PO box? I feel like you got to pay something, right?
Yeah, no, PO box, it's like $20 a month,
and he's got like
possibly
at least 10 of those. So
yeah, he couldn't possibly
$200 a month.
Yeah, he couldn't possibly, and that was in 1993. Come the fuck on, right? And he couldn't have had that much money, especially not if he's using meth.
Yeah,
right. Got a lot of demands on his money and time, and not a whole lot of visible means of support, unless the majors just dribble in him money and crystal.
This is my super special agent meth.
Yes. 2 letters McVeigh wrote his sister during this period displayed a return address in Kingman, Arizona, but the postmarks revealed he had mailed them from Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Nichols lived in Vegas at the time, and implant aficionado Colburn worked in Los Angeles until his arrest that summer, after which he became a fugitive and lived in mine shafts not too far from Kingman. Amazing. It was, in fact, during this same period that Moore told Coburn about Tuttle, the former Special Forces guy he knew who had been overtrained and now led a bunch of mean motherfuckers out in the desert, with whom Coburn would almost cross paths near Area 51.
Hey, that sounds like my friend Tim McVeigh.
At the time of Colburn's July 1994 arrest, police found a receipt for a storage shed rental in Golden Valley, where McVeigh still lived. Maybe. Wait, so he lived in he still lived in Golden Valley, not in a storage shed rental.
Oh, that's worse.
Maybe Colburn crossed paths with one of the other McVeigh Tuttle characters running around in the desert. And maybe there was something in the water, because McVeigh himself soon began renting storage spaces in various locations, including one in Golden Valley, where he kept ammonium nitrate, one of a few incriminating storage sheds he said had not been discovered. Mark Ham, among others, argued that Colburn, who Ham said made the meth 40A McVeigh and friends smoked, was the mastermind behind the actual construction of the bomb. That he was assisted by another man who lived with him in the meth lab trailer, and that there was likely another unidentified man involved in the cell, a phantom bomb builder. Bro, they summon ghosts to build their bombs.
The thing about meth heads is not very good at anything but smoking meth.
Yeah. Yep.
So if that lends credence to the fact that they did not build the bomb.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, here's
We
the
were
weird.
trying to make meth and we accidentally built a bomb.
I mean, that happens a lot. Like, happens fairly frequently. But to be fair to meth addicts, you know, a fair number of them cook the meth, right? Like they do the chemistry. And I mean, I realize it's like a technician level understanding. Like they don't know the chemical processes that are going on, but they can
I think I could do it.
they can carry out the process. I'm sure you could do it. I'm sure you could cook meth if you wanted to.
I'm a bright boy.
He's a smart little boy. He can cook methamphetamines anytime he wants.
You
Yeah,
went through like 3 different accents there.
it was rapid fire.
We're gonna cut that in post.
We're not gonna cut that in post. That's absolutely how it is. Oh, weird. Huh. Apparently we can't currently. I'm Hudson. You say something. Say something quick.
Test 1 2.
No, like actually keep talking.
Oh, okay. Why?
Oh, strange. Apparently we can't super chat right now for some reason.
Oh no, we've been cut off from super chats.
I don't know. That's very strange, but we have people trying to do something. So why don't you keep talking while I figure this out?
Sure. Where did we leave off?
No, I don't necessarily mean reading, but anyway, all right, phantom bomb builder. It would be Hammer wrote that during one of McVeigh's trips to Las Vegas, the major introduced him to a man he referred to only as Poindexter, but who the major said would help with the construction of the bomb. Oh, this is the guy. This is the guy who I was talking about earlier. Poindexter came to an unfortunate end the night before the bombing, though, having been murdered and thrown in the back of the Ryder truck. More on that later. Nice foreshadowing, Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
Unknown to Hammer, Jim Rosencrantz told the FBI that summer of 1994, he saw McVeigh spending time with a clean-cut man with glasses, 35 to 40 years old, whose name he said he didn't know and who he never saw before or after that brief time, but who he described as a geek and a Poindexter. As Rosencrantz knew Colburn, he and Poindexter were not the same person, although Poindexter could have been Nichols or possibly Ham's phantom bomb maker.
Imagine like you're involved in like a plot and everybody just calls you a nerd.
Yeah, no shit. It's like
you're getting, it's like, you know, you guys keep ripping on me. I'm not going to build this bomb for you.
Guys, you know, I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop building bombs. Okay. Like, you need a bomb builder. I'm the Phantom.
you can stop. Call me Phantom.
Call me Phantom. Call me Phantom. God damn it. Exactly. That's the issue. Like you just gotta respect. You gotta respect the Phantom, right?
I do want to know, where did the term Poindexter come from?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because somebody definitely had that name at some point, and you know, got kind of screwed.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah, like it was a real name. I bet it is a real last name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people actually have that name.
So apparently it's from the animated show Felix the Cat.
What, the insult?
Mm-hmm.
Or there was just a character? Oh, it became an insult then?
Mm-hmm. The name became a slang term meaning a bookish or socially unskilled person.
Interesting.
From 1959. So, you know, asked and answered.
All right, I figured it out. Super chats are re-enabled if you are a generous soul. But thank you for pointing that out, Mike.
Wow, not only do we break his brain, but we brainwashed him into paying us. That's great.
And now he's our strongest piggy. Thanks, bud. Assuming he wasn't just telling us. So, although no one else pointed that out, so I guess everyone else is an FBI agent.
Oh man, we're the Jannies of streamers. We do it for free.
No shit. All right. Man, I'm a little bummed out that they're saying that Timothy McVeigh was sucking D in the desert.
Getting a little peen.
Yeah, getting a little peen. He abandoned calculating the volume of fertilizer and started calculating the volume of that D.
Well, you see, nobody in the desert had a wife for him to shack up with, so
there was only one 16-year-old. Yeah. In fact, from here on out, McVeigh, if he wasn't being confused with other people who happened to have the same name, job, friends, and interests, he was being seen with other people who nobody could quite identify later, collectively called the John Does. In August 1994, McVeigh attended a motorcycle rally in Sturgis, South Dakota, where he wore what prosecutors later called the disguise, which consisted of a bandana, arguably the least effective disguise ever conceived of.
McVeigh had a fake mustache.
He had one of those Groucho. He had one of those like nose and mustache set of Groucho Marx glasses.
Gonna blow up this truck. Ha cha cha cha.
Ha cha 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 cha. Yeah. This is like a series of very sassy Wendy moments, aren't they?
He definitely wanted to get caught.
McVeigh must not have thought so, though, because he continued to wear his biker disguise, including at a racing track in Texas where he purchased ammonium nitrate. Interestingly, around this time, PatCon operative Bob Matthews was instructed by his FBI handlers to attend a paramilitary training camp in San Saba, Texas. Highly redacted FBI PatCon reports from 1991 described the camp as a 100-acre ranch run by the Texas Light Militia, a group known to be stockpiling weapons and explosives, specifically stolen military-grade C4. The FBI had several high-level undercover informants and agents in TLM who reported on the group's plans to train people in the use of weapons and explosives for the purpose of using force against the U.S. government at a future time. TLM was closely aligned with other problematic organizations, including the Aryan Nations, the KKK, and Civilian Material Assistance, the latter closely associated with Roger Moore. And members of those groups attended TLM's monthly training sessions. When Matthews attended the TLM training camp in 1994, he saw Timothy McVeigh and Elohim City resident and illegal alien Andy Strassmeyer associated with the illegal German alien. Yep, that's right. Associated with the TLM since he arrived in the U.S. During this session, attendees received instruction on how to convert Marine Corps-issued flare guns into grenade launchers. Immediately after the bombing, Matthews contacted his handler, Don Jarrett, to tell him he recognized McVeigh as the man he saw at the camp with Andy the German, Andreas Strassmeyer. Jarrett, however, informed Matthews that this was old news, that McVeigh had associated with other similar groups and that undercover FBI assets other than Matthews had been monitoring McVeigh in the run-up to the bombing. While he wasn't interested in McVeigh's appearance at the Texas camp, Jarrett did ask Matthews if he had ever seen McVeigh in Arizona, as Matthews had infiltrated groups there as well.
I don't know, man. I thought I saw him before, but now he's dressed like a biker. It's really hard to tell.
I don't know, man. Every single time someone puts on a bandana, like, you know,
it's like they disappear.
My wife put a bandana around my dog's neck, and I couldn't, you know, I didn't know if it was a cat or like a couch or some sort of weird statue that moved around. I was really thrown. And yeah, what?
EL with the great oh, never mind, EL. We have a super chat.
Oh, hey, Owen Zaleski. Post the Tookies Mag art. Also, get an entropy. Yeah, that's a good point. We do need to get an entropy. And I don't know what you mean about post the Tookies mag art. Did you make something new?
No, I think because Tookie Chan got a breast implant recently.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we reached 1,000. So you can look that up, Hudson. Can you grab that?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, because you're doing the screen. Yeah. So Owen, one of our strongest soldiers, has created Tookie Chan, who is the female embodiment of the series of shows that you see here that you hopefully are enjoying. And since we have passed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, he has also increased the bust size of our avatar. And apparently, so he has a nice chart of sizes that you can look forward to and or dread as you might be inclined to. Let's see here. Something like if we ever get 1 million subs, it's just going to be 2 big old circles, I think, on the screen. It's going to be it's going to be for all the hyper enjoyers. If you're aware of the lingo. Let's see if I can find the chart. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to find this because it's like way back in our shitty Discord. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's the enhanced one, but you don't have the prior one, the 999 one.
I've got with confetti and without confetti.
If you there's another post where it's just 999.
There
you go. There you go. A more modest bust with
kind of
an
lopsided too.
Alarming spread. Yeah, it's a good thing she got that. It's a good thing she got the cleavage because they didn't come in. They didn't come in evenly.
So thank you very much to Owen Zaleski.
Yeah.
And
God help us. God help us. Should it ever get larger? Yeah, it gets out of hand really quickly. He says if we ever get 100,000 subs, they're H cups. That is wild.
It's just going to take up the whole screen.
It's going to be they're going to be big old knockers. That's right. Or moose hangers, as Gabe likes to say. X Guy Extra, thank you. $5 sends a truck. We love keeping on trucking here, folks.
And we got one more.
I want bigger Tookie tit. Mike of Pole, version 7.2. Clearly a version built in India. Loves Bobs. Just like the original Mike of Pole.
Before we got inundated with so much love and super chat support, I did want to point out EL had a great joke. Well, at least a good reference to Norm Macdonald with Andy, the Swedish German.
Andy, the Swedish German. There we go. Yep. The man. Andy Strassmeyer. I want a book on Andreas Strassmeyer, actually. There's always like some weird foreigner who gets what was the fucking guy who was a spook for Lee Harvey Oswald?
Actually, Andreas Strassmeyer, believe it or not.
Wait, really? It was the same guy?
No.
Okay. No, I know it wasn't because the other guy was a yeah. I mean, I don't think was the other guy German or was he French? I think he was German. I think he was German.
He was from Alsace-Lorraine, so it was like either or.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Good point. Anyway, yeah. No, there's always like some weird foreign agent who's also involved.
Penultimo, you can request whatever you want. It doesn't mean it will be fulfilled.
It would have to be extremely sizable for you. If it's $100, we'll do the book as long as it's on topic.
Say Automaton by T.R. Hudson.
That is not an acceptably on topic book. We do schizo histories. So
I thought the book being covered for the regular Tookies guys, not LMD. Fair enough. Never mind. I'm out to lunch.
No. Yep. It's really late for lunch. Oh, you left. I see. Oh, none dare call it conspiracy. Well, that's on the list of
yeah, no, that's definitely on our list.
That's on the list of potentials already. So if you pay us, that will make our decision for us. Let's see here. Legal alien.
That was the worst part about Andy Strassmeyer.
That was the worst part
was
about
that he was an illegal.
An illegal. Hey, they got to go back, man. They got to go back.
They all have to go back, even the German ones.
Jared, however, informed Matthews that this was old news, etc. Did ask if he'd ever seen him in Arizona. Matthews had not. The FBI's harassment of Matthews and their attempt to prevent him from testifying about this and other incidents is currently the subject of a Supreme Court appointed investigation into the FBI's overall effort to silence key witnesses and withhold information about the bombing. That would be an interesting thing to follow.
Yeah,
I'm sure
we'll get something out of that.
I mean, maybe at this point, right?
Yeah, with Representative Luna and her, the smoke show is going to get rid of the smoke screen.
The thing is that I don't think that they're releasing OKC documents, right?
Yeah, no, that's too current. They have to release all the old crap.
Although, to be honest, I mean, actually, this took place during the Clinton administration. If there's something really fucked up in there that directly ties them back to the Clintons, they will 100% release that shit. Like, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Like, they'll 100%. I mean, Janet Reno's already fucking dead. May she burn in hell. But
rest in pieces.
Yeah. But yeah, but for sure, like, if there's something embarrassing in the OKC files that connect to the Clintons, like, that shit's going to get released.
It turns out that Bill Clinton tried to blame Vince Foster's death on Timothy McVeigh.
Penultimo, goddammit.
None dare call it. Okay. All right. That's it.
None dare call it a bribe. All right.
That's the next book. It has to be.
That's the next book. For a super chat that because it was already on the list, a super chat that is less than the price of the book, we will of course do it.
Yeah, it's an expensive ass book.
Yeah, it's not gonna be cheap. I'm gonna have to search for that one actually. Oh,
nice. I'm gonna make like $3 tonight.
What? Oh, right.
Oh, right. I forgot. I told him I'd pay him.
I told him that I'd give him the proceeds. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sure, right.
Anyway, information provided by Joe Hurley, an informant working for first the Secret Service and then the FBI, ATF, and Missouri State Highway Patrol, led to the arrest of Wyatt Dwayne Wagoner in September 1994. Wagoner, ultimately convicted on 6 explosives and weapons violation, had planned to blow up a courthouse using an ANFO truck bomb and a rocket launcher, and had been involved in bank robberies in order to fund his plan. After the OKC bombing, Hurley, like Matthews and others, said he met McVeigh at a paramilitary training camp attended by a radical right-wing mercenary and was willing to carry out acts of terror for the right price.
Boy, nobody does it for the love of the game. Everybody's doing it for money.
Okay, here's what I don't get. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't get. Let's be real. But one thing that I don't get,
like pussy,
like pussy. One thing that
the hell was that?
Like a pussy, a Julia Child, serving up the premium trim. Yes. So I would say that I don't understand why people are robbing banks in order to fund their crimes here, because you'd have to think that a place that stores ammonium nitrate would be easier Like, it would be easier to steal ammonium nitrate than it would be to rob a bank.
Yeah, but you can't get a receipt for stealing ammonium nitrate.
What? Oh, you mean making a paper trail?
Exactly. And again, I don't think he's ever actually robbed a bank. I think he's getting like US
No,
aid
but this is a
money.
whole other guy.
Yeah, everybody was getting US aid money. It was all grants.
It was all grants. Grants for the
Technically, it was an NEA grant. It was supposed to be like this art exhibit.
right.
And
It was an art installation. It's a short-lived art installation.
it's very short-lived. He could only do it once.
Titled "Explosion at the Courthouse."
It's like when Daffy Duck would swallow the match after drinking the plutonium. He says, "I could only do it once."
I can only do it once. It's a great act. What do you call it? The Aristocrats. BK, $10. You are the Burger King crown wearer. So
that means you can say it.
He can say Sneed. It's true. It's
and
true.
Something else.
And
Because he wears the crown. He found that crown in the gutter and then took it onto an airplane.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, that shouts the gamer word on an airplane. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You guys have been incredibly generous tonight. Thank you so much. Let's see. September 1994.
Now I can buy a new pair of pants that haven't been soiled.
He can finally Hudson can upgrade and stop wearing the loincloth. Just a little scrap. After the first super chat we ever received, I bought him a sock, and he was so happy.
And he used it for something else.
He could finally masturbate. That's freeing him. Oh my god.
We like to have fun.
According to the alone, he's just embracing who he is. It's the best euphemism I've found so far for gooning. You can say it around women and they'll be like, "Oh my god, that's so healthy." It's the only time they'll congratulate you for jacking off. All right. Stop wearing old curtains tied with an extension cord. Yes.
I have misplaced my pants.
Yeah. Still plugged in. According to the federal indictment issued him, the conspiracy to bomb the Murrah Building began on September 13th, 1994, and involved McVeigh, Nichols, and the mysterious Others Unknown. Great band name. Interestingly, McVeigh registered
Tuttle and the Others Unknown.
Tim Tuttle and the Others Unknown playing this year at the OGC conference, providing in-house entertainment. Interestingly, McVeigh registered at the El Siesta Motel, located just minutes from the remote Elohim City, on this same day. Roger Moore said that although he and McVeigh continued to communicate after the robbery, the last time they saw each other in person was the previous spring when McVeigh stopped by his Arkansas ranch. McVeigh, he said, had become noticeably more paranoid. He slept by the windows so he'd know if anybody was approaching the house, and kept handguns under his pillow. He kept rapid firing his automatic pistol in the driveway and harping on Waco. Just standing in the driveway, emptying a fucking pistol with a switch on it. Goddamn. Bold choices.
I like my meth shaken, not stirred.
Franken. McVeigh left a couple of days later, although Moore wasn't sure why, as there had been no altercation between them. That's the only time people ever leave Moore's presence after a fight. Well, we didn't fight. I don't understand.
Friends leave?
Friends leave?
No, leaving is for enemies.
McVeigh said he'd stopped by in an attempt to... that's what Moore told the FBI. McVeigh said he stopped by in an attempt to patch things up with Moore, but left after only one day because Moore suddenly accused him of stealing his flare launcher design.
There we go.
McVeigh said he sold about 10 of the rocket launchers based on Moore's design, but thought it would be okay since by doing so he was helping Moore sell the replacement flares. Neither would admit to seeing the other at any point after that, although slips of the tongue, McVeigh's defense team and later others learned that they had. During
Yeah,
a
it's like when the Beatles
conversation,
broke up and they never wanted to acknowledge each other's existence. It's like, John Lennon's been shot. Who? Never heard of him.
never heard of him. I feel like Ringo probably was probably chill with everyone else.
Ringo is the happiest Beatle.
Ringo is the
And now he's like the spokesman for Skechers. So he's hanging out
Really?
with Kim Kardashian. Yeah.
What a weird,
Right?
They still make those shoes?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's before that he also was like the Monday Night Football spokesman.
What?
Yeah, no, there's a
Like American football?
Yeah. And he would wear a Dallas Cowboys jersey because he's Ringo Starr, and he was really cringe, and he'd be like, "Whoa, yeah, Monday Night Football."
And because the Dallas Cowboys are the Ringo of the NFL. let's be real.
Used to be relevant, now just kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, at least the Cleveland Browns never had anything going for them.
That's not true. They had Jim Brown.
I mean, their entire team should just be people with the last name Brown.
Yeah.
That should be the rule. Owner Paul Brown. It's just very, very plain Jane.
General Manager Brown versus Board of Education.
Boo, Brown versus the Board of Education. Boo this man. Yes. Let's see. During a conversation, defense investigators Richard Reyna informed McVeigh that Moore would likely testify against him in court. McVeigh said he didn't think that would happen because Moore would never dare. What are you gonna fucking do to him?
I got a lot of dirt on Moore.
When Reyna told McVeigh to wake up and smell the coffee, McVeigh became visibly angry.
I know how to smell.
He insisted he would never smell coffee, ever.
I'm awake. You guys are the one that are asleep. You're like sleeping sheep.
You're like some sort of sheep people.
That was the first time anyone had ever used the term sheeple.
Sheeple. Neologism credited to Timothy
McVeigh, known for other work.
Known for his other work, that's right. He then explained to Reyna that on several occasions, including in August and September 1994, Moore sold him kinestics, one of the components used in the truck bomb. In fact,
he used a child's toy?
I think you're thinking of Kinects.
Those were so cool.
Yeah. In fact, although they were just a worse Lego.
Legos but like better. I couldn't make a functioning truck out of Legos.
That's true. That's true. Well, you can now. Maybe not maybe not when you were a kid. Yeah.
I had to get the extra big Legos so I didn't choke.
Oh, because you were
retarded.
Right. Yeah, because you had the extra chromosome that made it impossible for you to understand liberty.
Yep, I just got my 24andMe back, and
24andMe. That's what they should do when you fill it out and you have Down syndrome. They should send it back as 24andMe.
Imagine the first time that happened to 23andMe. It's like, whoa, what the hell? This guy's got 24. Oh,
Kleinfelters. I see.
Yeah. Well, you are Welsh.
Yes, you are Welsh. Oh, that is why they talk like that. It's just mispronounced English. That's the only difference.
I have a cousin that's retarded. We told everyone he was just Welsh.
Moore sold kinestics and many other things he wasn't supposed to, but not to just anybody. If the FBI had ever bothered to search Moore's house, they would have found not only more weapons than were found at the Davidian compound. I almost said Dravidian again.
Oh my goodness.
But cases of explosives as well. In a conversation with biographers after his conviction, McVeigh said that while he was unsure of how much he should talk about Moore, there was a lot more to Moore than people knew. There was a lot more to Moore to explore.
Not only was he the star of several James Bond films, but he was also a gardener and enjoyed sex with women.
And he was a North African Muslim who previously occupied Spain. You might call him even more the
Moorish.
more. Yes.
Father of actress Julianne Moore,
And Demi Moore.
both
Yes.
known for Moore.
No.
Nah,
not that
I
one.
lost
Not
it.
that one. Yeah, you lost it. You lost the thread there. We were done. We were done with Demi. Are they actually related, Julianne Moore and Demi
I
Moore?
really doubt it.
Probably not. Probably not. Yep.
I'll Jamie that up real quick.
Great grandson of Thomas More. Anyhow, he explained to them that if Moore's house had ever been searched, Moore would have been arrested on the spot because he sold an aluminum powder used to boost ammonium nitrate, and the chemical trace of it would have been all over his fucking house, which would have matched those found on McVeigh after his arrest. Not only that, McVeigh continued, Moore provided him with blasting caps and cannon fuse, also components of the OKC bomb.
Cannon fuse mentioned?
Oh, man. But again, it had never become an issue in the investigation or in his criminal trial. Years later, in 2005, Nichols told the FBI where they could find a box of explosives that he had hidden prior to the bombing. He said that the box would have a shipping label on it in the name Robert Miller, Moore's alias, and Moore's fingerprints would be all over the box. Sure enough, the FBI found the box of explosives right where he said it would be, but for some reason, they didn't attempt to match the fingerprints found on the box for another 3 years, at which times the results were found to be inconclusive.
Speaking of assumed names, neither Julianne Moore nor Demi Moore
Are named Moore.
Are named Moore. Yes,
Their
Julianne
real
Moore.
last names are Levinson, aren't they?
No, actually, so Julianne Moore was born Julianne Smith. And
Okay.
Demi Moore was named Demi Jean Guinness.
Ugh.
Yeah, I can see why she went with Demi Moore.
No kidding.
That sounds like the name of a tranny. Like, oh, my name is Demi Guy Guinness.
My name is Demi Guinness.
Or
Yeah,
sorry, Demi Jean Guinness.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Oh, there was that rumor about her, right? That she was like a hermaphrodite.
Oh man, are we pulling on some threads here?
I know. I'm pretty sure it wasn't true, since she I'm pretty sure she has like biological children, and there are pictures of her pregnant. So,
well, some people say that Brigitte Macron has children, and
the manliest fucking really unfortunate face.
definitely a dude.
Yeah, I would believe that from the French.
Yep.
Although the tranny thing really is not so bad in Europe, from what I understand. It's really an American thing, unfortunately.
Hard to tell.
Hard to fucking look at. Brigitte Macron, not a looker.
She's what you would describe as a sturdy gal.
I mean, I don't know what she looked like before the transition, but Emmanuel has. I mean, that age gap is 25 years.
Dude, you know she groomed him.
Dude, they are age gapped by 25 years. Emmanuel Macron looks like, if one of them was going to transition and you had to pick the one who would be more convincing, you should have gone with Emmanuel. Just saying.
Macron.
Yeah.
R.I.P. France.
R.I.P. France. Yep. Someday.
Thanks for the fries.
Thanks. Yeah, they did a great job with the fries. They have many stanky kinds of cheese. And unfortunately, they have completely destroyed their population. So
was it worth it? Was it worth it for cheese?
Was it worth it for cheese? No, it wasn't. Even if McVeigh and Nichols were just attempting to shift blame from themselves to Moore, their statements would fail to explain other episodes in Moore's life. In 1989, a confidential informant had told the ATF that Robert Miller in Arkansas offered to mail him 100 pounds of C4. The telephone number and address provided by the informant traced back to Roger Moore and Karen Anderson. while Robert Miller was a known alias of Moore when the ATF contacted the Arkansas State Police Intelligence Unit and gave them this information. They were told that it was just a case of mistaken identity, and the ATF's investigation of Moore was quickly dropped.
Sorry about that, sir. Oh, no problem at all.
No problem at all. Just trying to do a bit of entrapment.
I've heard that Ringo Starr, that he is a domestic terrorist. You can go after him.
Radio.
Cheerio.
Wait, what? The police are also English now?
Yeah. Oh, so in England they call them bobbies.
Oh, Robert, long for Bobby. He's a cop. He's a
Fed.
He's a Fed. We know. They don't even try to hide it. They think we're idiots.
Wake up, sheeple.
All right.
Sometimes you go into voices and I don't know where you're going with them.
I'm not going anywhere with them. I'm just doing a voice. It's more fun. Let's see. 100 pounds C4, Karen Anderson. Yeah, also dropped. Moore must have forgotten about the explosives he gave and sold McVeigh, as well as a number of other things in his life, because he told the FBI that he never sold anything that would have brought the attention of the ATF, and had even stopped selling guns because of the difficulties raised by the Brady Bill. Another thing Roger Moore forgot was that according to the gun show records, he and McVeigh were both at the 1994 Soldier of Fortune convention that ran from September 15th to 18th, and McVeigh was working Moore's table registration there. Also in attendance were a number of white power spokespeople whom McVeigh attempted to call in the days leading up to the bombing, including Kirk Lyons and Dave Holloway, both closely associated with Elohim City, and suspected German operative. I thought you were going to do it. Andrea Strassmeyer. Both spokespeople for Cause, whose officers, like Elohim City, McVeigh would call in the days before the bombing. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that those two names could easily be character actor in Hollywood names.
Kirk Lyons. Yeah. Dave Holloway. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, they both star in made-for-TV movies.
Oh yeah, they're very busy. Like one of them ends up having like a totally fine career, but then the other one, after he's like kind of just resigned himself to always being that guy.
Yeah, he
ends
pretty
up
much only does episodes of Law and Order.
Yeah, but like one of them would end up getting a late in life career boost because people just like love seeing him and stuff. Right, he was just was a character actor in enough actually good things that he gets a leading role in something, sort of like a Buscemi arc.
Yeah, like a Richard Kind.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so imagine the annoying guy.
Nope, not doing it because that's T.R. Hudson.
Oh.
IMDb. Richard Kind, you said?
Uh-huh.
Richard Kind, IMDb. Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, always kind of annoying.
No, I mean like sort of schlubby.
Yeah.
Not too schlubby, not too smart, good, trustworthy. Like this guy's completely relying on his face, right? Like his physiognomy is just so trustworthy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his name is literally Kind.
He's got bartender you tell your troubles to physiognomy.
He doesn't really seem like a bartender. He seems like he doesn't drink a lot.
Well, bartenders don't have to drink.
Yeah, they do. Bartenders have to drink.
You, sir, have never seen Cheers. Sam Malone had quit drinking.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but also...
And Woody was too stupid to drink.
Woody didn't... What?
Woody, the bartender... never mind.
Anyway. All right. So... Yeah, I didn't know that guy's name, but I recognized him from like a million things.
Exactly, yeah. That's perfect character actor. That's the sweet spot. You'd never know their names.
Yeah.
I met him once and he was surprised I knew who he was.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I pulled Richard Kind out of my hat.
I had someone recognize me by my voice in real life, and I was alarmed.
Hey, aren't you Capitalisimo? It's Capitalisimo, and no.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Was it
anyhow,
it doesn't count if it's at the OGC conference.
well, that's true. But no, I didn't go. I didn't go last year. I won't be there this year. Maybe. Let's see. Also in attendance at the 1994 Soldiers of Fortune convention was Utah skinhead leader Johnny Bangerter. While standing around a row of tables packed with militia and white power keepsakes, Bangerter had the unfortunate privilege of meeting an ATF informant from Las Vegas named John Brenner, who was congregated near Moore's table. Bangerter recalled that Moore, using his alias Bob Miller, that's not really that different of a fucking name, wanted to give...
Well, I mean, he was Tim Tuttle.
Yeah, right.
These guys were, my real name is nowhere close to TR Hudson.
Terry Turtletop. Yeah.
Oh, it's
my real name is Capitalisimo. That's what my mother calls me.
Let's see. Well, my favorite band is Fleetwood Mac, and it's because I like Christy McVeigh, so I'll call myself Tim McVeigh. Ah, crap.
Shit.
Tim Fleetwood.
Yeah, Penultimo's right here. Before the internet, you didn't need to be too creative with aliases. That's true. That's totally true. You could just like come up with like a good sounding solid last name, and like there you go, there's your stage name.
My name's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, you could have gone with Willem DeFriend. Yeah, I mean, like I should have just been like Cormac Hardcastle. That should have just been my fucking nom de plume or nom de vox or whatever you'd call it.
Hey, Woodpit with Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac was good. I will not hear Fleetwood Mac's slander.
Pre-Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac was decent. Yep.
All iterations of Fleetwood Mac were good.
I can't think of a single Fleetwood Mac song.
The Chain, Dreams.
Why don't you sing it?
I don't want to.
That's good. You have passed the test.
You could go your own way.
Oh, okay. I know that one. That's a good one.
Landslide.
Hi, my name is Ryder Truckin' Groiper 88. Nice to meet you. Yes. Oh my god.
We had to change our name when we left the country.
We had to change.
It was Groipstein.
It used to be much longer. Yes.
The name was actually Groipstein.
Groipenstein.
Fake fan.
Felt
Owen, how can you call me a fake fan?
Of himself. Let's see. All right. Bangerter recalled that Moore, using his alias Bob Miller, wanted to give us, not sell us, but give us a safety flare converted into a shoulder-fired missile launcher. If you just glanced at it, it kind of looked like a toy, but it was supposed to be able to divert heat-seeking missiles and thwart infrared searches. We accepted the launcher, and at the same time, Brenner tried to give us another type of fake rocket launcher, which was supposed to launch grenades. They were very cheap looking, and you could tell those were bullshit, so I declined that offer. He took one of them.
That one, the one that diverts heat-seeking missiles, that's the one that seems more legit.
Yeah. Although that does work with flares. I mean, you could just if you launch flares. I
know, like in theory, but I definitely wouldn't test that out with his fake crap.
Well, true. But also, if you're just like fucking standing on the ground, they're not going to shoot a heat-seeking missile at you.
Oh, dude, we could have made so much money, like just selling fake crap to crazy people. In fact, we could do that now.
We could do that right now. There are actually books that you can buy For like
This
build
is a T-shirt that will make you invisible in girls' lockers rooms.
amazing. Yes, so true. Do you mean the female body inspector T-shirt?
That is the one, yes.
Yes. I'm authorized to be here.
This all checks out.
So you
So
can't.
I did hear that Donald Trump made Kash Patel the head of the FBI so that he could start a female body inspecting division of the FBI
Yes.
to keep men from changing in women's locker rooms.
Brilliant.
Yes, you are a female.
Actually doing it.
Yeah.
Actually doing it. Yes, real Bobs checks out. There is, what is it? Well, I mean, actually turning the FBI into female body inspectors is basically what they did with Doge. You know, they had the United States Digital Services and they turned it into the United States Doge Services. So they just like couched an acronym inside of an acronym.
Excuse me, Big Balls. How come all of this USAID money started going to OnlyFans girls?
Sex work is work.
I will not be answering any more questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Musk is like, okay, fair. Also, by the way,
let this sink in.
Speaking of conspiracy theories that are not confirmed, but also that are definitely true, Elon Musk is obviously practicing a eugenics program for himself, because he has so many kids. Obviously he can afford to have any number of kids, right? But the number of fraternal multiples that he is having is like a clear indication that the women that he's having children with, none of whom he has ever been married to, as far as I'm aware, or maybe his first one, but they're just implanting multiple embryos. Like they're just
so he's not even having sex with them.
I mean, he very well may be, right? But
he never actually had sex with what's that crazy girl's name?
Grimes.
Well, no, the other, the Johnny Depp one.
Amber Heard?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, they dated for a while.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
No, he definitely fucked her. I mean, why would you date Amber Heard if you didn't just want a crazy bitch? I mean,
I don't know. We'd have to ask Johnny Depp.
I mean, yeah, well, because he was a battered husband. He was an abused man. She doo-dooed on his sheets. She was not housebroken.
That whole trial was a lot. That was like my OJ.
That was your OJ.
I was too young for OJ.
For the original one, yeah. Yeah. But Musk is definitely just implanting ovums. Like Siobhan's, like he had triplets, and then his like most recent lady he had twins with. So it's like fraternal twinning is not a trait carried by the male. Like fraternal twinning means that the female drops multiple eggs. So they're like inducing these things. They're inducing these things and like having multiples. Which I mean you can fucking do. Like it's not like it's illegal or anything, but it's a little distasteful. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see. Not long after that, Brenner was showing up at Bangerter's house trying to get him to take part in a number of plots, including trafficking illegal firearms and stolen military hardware, specifically night vision goggles and C4 explosives, killing federal judges and a bombing plot using, you might have guessed, an ANFO-loaded Ryder truck, all defining features of the PatCon operations. Bangerter, who during his time in Aryan Nations had learned the ropes of a setup and the signs of a sting, was suspicious of Brenner and rebuffed his efforts, written about extensively in my next book, Redacted. Does not exist yet. Have not seen that book. That book has not been released. I would love to read Redacted.
Instead, Wendy is just tweeting about her cats.
Yes. Wendy, finish the book. Finish the book, Wendy.
Nobody cares about the cats, Wendy.
Actually, it was a very touching thread, but
yeah. Well, no, but she's
send us the
made
manuscript.
multiple posts.
How long is redacted? Incredibly long is what it is. It's gonna be so fucking long.
5 volumes.
5 volumes, 1,000 pages each. Yeah.
And it's all footnotes. There's a 6th volume that is just footnotes.
Oh God. Imagine Bangerter's surprise, or lack thereof, when Brenner appeared in a series of news articles for his involvement in an ATF sting operation run out of Las Vegas gun shop. Brenner had gotten caught up in a sting operation very similar to the one Roger Moore was involved with in the late 1980s. It was also similar to and running concurrent with a PatCon operation that involved a gun store in Phoenix named, no joke, Lone Wolf Guns, which sold automatic weapons to right-wing extremists and outlaw biker gangs. More recently, the curiously named gun shop was implicated in the Fast and Furious scandal. Remember that? Remember Fast and Furious?
Is that the time that Obama wore a tan suit?
Nice, but no. Years after he disappeared, Brenner would write Bangerter and ask his forgiveness, admitting that he himself had been busted on a weapons charge and subsequently induced to entrap other people in exchange for leniency. During the late 1994 and early 1995, though, Brenner was still busy trying to entrap Johnny Bangerter.
Dude, just do a crime. Believe me, you can tell me all the crimes you did.
You can tell me about all of your criminal doings and goings on, etc.
I promise I won't tell anyone else. Wink.
Yeah. So the what is it? The ATF gun walk is Operation Fast and Furious. Okay. On October 26, 2009, a teleconference was held at the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. to discuss a strategy for combating Mexican drug cartels. And essentially what happened, they identified...
Letters of marque.
Yeah, so they gave weapons to the cartels in order to trace them through the
I know what Fast and Furious was.
Yeah.
It was a really stupid plan.
It was a really dumb plan that didn't work and was deeply embarrassing.
And only because it got found out, and they had. I guarantee that
something that no one else finds out about is never embarrassing.
Operation Fast and Furious was actually just a way to give the cartel American-made weapons, and they had to make up a stupid justification for it. We're literally just trying to give our enemies weapons to use against us.
We're literally just trying to arm the cartels
because Obama hates America. Why do you think his middle name is Hussein? Why do you think he married a man? Why do you think, I don't know, he's
black? The physiognomy never lies.
Or the phrenology.
It's because I hate you.
Okie doke.
Okie doke. Let's see here.
Let me be clear. I hate you.
Let me be crystal clear. I hate you. Are we actually going to get to the bomb? No, we're going to get to the bombing next time, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get through it. Yeah. There's no way.
All right, let's just skip this chapter. And
this is the last chapter.
All right, let's just skip this.
There's an epilogue.
Everybody just read this part on your own, and we'll get to the epilogue.
Anyway. So, maybe we'll get to the next section by the end of this December 1994 to February 95. So we'll do the October, November.
No, I scrolled through before. There's a lot of stuff in between.
This one's long. Yeah. All right, but let's just see how far we get. We got 20 minutes. I'm already saying it. On November 1st, 1994, McVeigh asked Terry Nichols to rob Roger Moore, saying that as Moore and Nichols didn't know each other, Moore wouldn't suspect Nichols. He assured Nichols that it would be easy and Moore would give him absolutely no trouble at all. Nichols could keep most of the cash, and the only thing McVeigh wanted were the guns. Nichols said that when he declined the proposal, McVeigh threatened his family and he relented. Now that it was agreed, McVeigh told him exactly when and what to do. Nichols was to rob Moore on November 5th, a day Karen Anderson would be out of town and Moore would be alone. Although how McVeigh knew this is unclear. McVeigh further instructed Nichols not to take anything that belonged to Karen Anderson. He gave very detailed instructions as to where everything Nichols should take would be found. Included were a number of unregistered guns with no serial numbers. McVeigh told Fortier that the objective of robbing Moore was to obtain a list of names he kept of people in the movement because Moore had threatened that if he ever ran afoul of the law and needed to get out of jail free card, he would hand over the names to the feds. Oh God. Owen. Thank you very much for the super chat.
You gotta say it.
I do. Let me be clear. I did not have sexual relations with Timothy McVeigh. I think we're kind of mixing Obama and Clinton here. So is that like let me be clear. I did not have sexual relations with Timothy McVeigh. That's the so you mix and match it. First bit's Obama, you get the slick Willie later.
That's a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. That was impressive.
Thank you.
You slipped in and out so seamlessly. It was like having sex with Hillary Clinton.
I mean, that's got to be like, I mean, it's all teeth in there, right? It's like
when
teeth.
Indiana Jones.
It's like one of those. Have you ever seen one of those? Have you ever seen one of those tumors? On like, you ever seen like a YouTube video of like weird tumors where they have like a bunch of like teeth and hair and shit inside of them?
No,
that's Hillary Clinton's vagina. Oh yeah, some kinds of tumors just like randomly grow like teeth and fingernails and lumps of hair just inside of them. They're crazy.
I think you're talking about an abortion, Cap, and that's really messed up.
No, bud, that's an actual tumor.
That's not a tumor.
It's a tumor. But that is totally the case. If Tim had worked with Bill, would he sleep with Hillary?
He would have had to. He was contractually obligated.
Contractually obligated.
Teratomas. Yes, I have heard of those.
Yes.
Teratoma.
Yes, exactly. They're absolutely horrifying. Oh man, X guy. So you knew someone who had a teratoma. Yeah, it's definitely scary, but did they keep it? Because I would totally keep it. I would be, these are my
jar.
These are my extra tumor teeth. Yeah, I know. I'd totally put it in like a jar of Everclear or whatever. I preserved it. Dude, if you had some crazy crap like that removed from you, you at least better like get a memento out of it.
No, actually, I wouldn't. I'd say thank you, doctor, for extracting this little bit of demon inside me. Please have this burned.
Man, see, like this is my archivist sort of drive to like
you just collect random crap.
No, I mean like I have several like animals that are preserved.
I have several people's teeth.
I mean, I do have a bunch of teeth.
Of course you do.
They're my human teeth.
You know, I was gonna ask when I was to expect my royalty from LMD, and now I'm kind of scared.
I'm going to pay you in preserved specimens of fetal sharks.
Here are your teeth. The tooth fairy will exchange them.
Huh.
Okay, here's a question. Do you think the tooth fairy can tell what's a real tooth and what's a teratoma tooth?
The tooth fairy is the only kind of fairy that isn't real.
Huh?
All the other the other like Sidhi and Unsidhi are real fairies, and they're actually factually existing in Ireland. But the tooth fairy isn't real, Hudson.
Gonna have to disagree with you there. I made like $10 as a kid.
So have you ever watched the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes.
Okay, so that is not a very funny show.
No,
but there is one section where the gay black man is attempting to get hired for a Trident commercial, and he is panicking and trying to sing a song to show them that he would be the right person to hire for this. And he goes, Trident gum is the chewiest gum. You put it in your mouth and you chew it with your teeth. Teeth are bones that live outside. They hang from your lips like bats. Oh, outside bones, outside bones. Never forget your teeth are outside bones. And let's see. And then it's like
what does that have to do with
hold on.
fairy
It's
and
the
her
last bit. The last
veracity?
bit of it. Hold on. It's the last bit of it. What when you're young, they fall out of your head, but to make it less weird, we say they got taken by a demon that your parents know. So yeah, he worked in the Tooth Fairy there.
Wow, you have a voice for musical theater.
Yeah, and
Speaking
I'm a
of fairies,
heterosexual. And
no,
I'm a
you're not.
heterosexual.
There's no way. There's no way that one, you watched Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and then also learned the fucking lyrics to that song.
No, my
And
wife sings it to me all the time. No, she does. And
with the accent, or has she like completely Americanized?
Her grandparents were born in this country. Yeah.
Answer the question.
She, in her Midwest accent, yes.
I don't believe you.
Oh, Micah Poole.
Oh my goodness! I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a book with all this.
I had a spike removed from the side of my butt in middle school. Long story. Still have it in a jar. Oh,
Mike,
man.
were you assaulted by a teacher?
A spike. What kind of spike was it? Was it like a
railroad
sharpened rebar? Like what? Yeah, what was it?
He went to a bad school with bad kids.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had a behavioral disability and probably had an IEP. But I don't know how you get a fucking spike in your ass. I mean, not in the side of your ass.
You know, but
I don't, sir. I don't.
Mike,
did they think you spike.
Did they think you were a vampire? A gay vampire.
A gay vamp. You have to kill gay vampires by shoving a stake in their ass. From the bleachers. Was it a spike?
That's a splinter.
or a really big splinter? Was it just a splinter, Mike?
Big baby.
I appreciate that you gave us $5 to be interrogated and called retarded. I appreciate that so much. Sleeping on a raft. So true. Yeah, listen to the Tookies Mag episode about Phil Rott's The Raft. Definitely.
What, did he get raped on the raft?
Multiple times.
Did a dolphin jump onto the raft?
It kept happening. Man, I gotta tell you, there is something about like the online right-wing people who write novels and put gay rape in them. Like, that's not what this show's about. I'm just saying,
man.
This show has, up until like literally this episode, where a spurious allegation was cast on Timothy McVeigh's honor. This has been by far. Well, this has been one of the straightest ones.
This has been the most ass-tastic episode that we've had.
This is very butt-centric, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, it's like, well, who would put gay rape in their novel? And then I realized I put gay rape in my novel.
Oh, God damn it.
It's nothing explicit. It's all implied or talked about. And it's not seen as good.
I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, look, all right. Biggest example of, okay, so there's Nutcranker, gay rape in Nutcranker.
There's Dragon Day.
Dragon Day is the primo example. It is the rape scene in Dragon Day is
a little much.
Chilling. It is terrifying. It's the inciting incident for the entire novel, and it makes the entire novel an incredibly uncomfortable read. People should read Dragon Day.
Yeah, no, I liked
it's Dragon Day. It's super slept on. Matt Pegas, the other half
of New Ritual Press.
Yep. New Ritual Press, and the other half of New Right Podcast, which could use another episode anytime, guys. Anytime. I listen to them.
I did vigorously beg Dan Baltic to have me on so I could show my new book.
Yeah, and what did he say?
He left me on red.
Oh
I'm
no.
kidding. No, Dan is like the best because if he likes you, he will retweet you from 4 accounts.
He said no and said your book was not gay enough. No, that's true. And he and his alt accounts are some of LMD's strongest soldiers. So yes, thank you, Dan. Yeah, so there's those two. There's Phil Rott. Let me see. Gay sexual assault. What other books have I read on
Didn't what's his
Tookies?
name? Like Welcome to Vaporfornia. Who's that guy?
I didn't read that one. Alex. Oh no, that's Robert. Is that Robert Stark?
Yeah, Robert Stark. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was a whole thing. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, that one had apparently some very gay rape in it.
Okay.
My book has the implication of it.
Because of the implication, right?
Yes, because of the implication. Let's see. That's about it, but that's, more than enough. Delicious Tacos had to have talked about it at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
App writes of this.
Pap writes of this. Yes, real homo nationalists.
I will say, speaking of Matt Pegas's book, there is a gay Andy the German in it.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, there's also. You know what? When we read Don DeLillo's Libra, there was also
yeah.
There was also a gay rape in that one. I feel like I need to check. I feel like I need to check the playlist for Tookies Mag.
Hate Spree has to have that in there.
Oh, there's
right?
definitely, there's totally, totally. I mean, there's every possible permutation.
Did Incel have it?
Incel did not. No.
How about Mixtape Hyperborea? I feel like that would be
absolutely
in there.
not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
No,
yeah, no. Mixtape Hyperborea is the comfiest fucking read in existence. Yeah, let's see here. I believe that there was a let's see, Mark Dawson, his books. We kind of sexually
what about Justin Moan?
Dude, yes, no. There's every kind in Justin Moan. There's although the weirdest things in Justin Moan do happen to women, to be real, like getting their vaginas cut off like a slice of pizza, which mechanically you would wonder how that would work. And
that's not how that.
No, yeah, he does not know how that would work.
I bet he thinks boobs feel like a bag of sand.
Yeah. There's definitely no gay rape in My Confession by Samuel Chamberlain. Thank the Lord. Pass the ammunition.
Yeah, no,
on
just in Blood Meridian, which is
yep.
the unauthorized biography of Samuel Chamberlain.
Right. There is definitely gay rape in oh, sorry, what is it? There's gay rape in it's not really gay rape. It's gay simulated rape in Cairo Smith's Quarter Lives. I
will say, J.L. Mackie never put gay rape in his books, so
he didn't. He never did it. He stayed away, and that's why he delisted his books. He was like, it's like, well, I gotta add the gay rape.
I will not stand for Mackie slander. He's a great man.
Yes, Tom Edgman is a good man and thorough.
The Edge Man.
Mike Paul, another $2. Thank you very much, bud. My novel has gay South Africa in it. Interesting.
So Zimbabwe.
So it's I mean, yeah, so everywhere outside of Orania.
But I'm tough.
Let's see. And Owen Zaleski again, $2. This is a metaphor for modernity. So true, King.
True. So true.
Who among us has not been?
Joker 2 had gay rape in it.
Yeah. Who among us cannot say that we have been?
Boy, the one night that we talk about gay rape and Thingol isn't here.
No kidding. No kidding.
I'm
and
sure we're gonna
Gabe
get it
left.
Yeah.
Gabe left. How does that even work? He would be in the chat talking about how it's vitalist and shit.
Yeah. To be fair, the only reason I put it in my novel was because I was trying to be like Cormac McCarthy.
You were just, I thought I needed it. I thought I needed.
Well, no, the one character is I was like, oh, let's make the judge, but like worse, I guess.
Yeah. Is there? I don't think that there's gay rape in Millennium. I don't think Marty's. I think
no,
Marty's
and not in Let Them Look West either.
Okay, well, good for Marty. AKA Schizo.
Was it
something.
in? I don't think it was in Give Up the Ghost either.
It kind of was because of. I mean, you could imagine something horrible had happened to some of the victims.
True. Fair enough.
So yes, I believe that was implied, although it didn't happen to the protagonist. You didn't get like the first person perspective on it, which
I don't. None in Brett Kane's work.
Yeah, there's none.
None in Sheepskin, I assume. By Dr. John Pars.
I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so
it's a real rite of passage.
It's a real rite of yeah. You gotta It's just in so many of them. My God. Anyway, so next time,
Predatory.
Next time we're covering a Chuck Tingle book. So we're not doing that.
Although if you pay me $100, I will have Cap on for Cannon Fodder to do it.
To do a Chuck Tingle book?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It was in Jackalopians, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No. Where would it have been in Jackalopians?
I don't know.
It didn't happen in Jackalopians. Yeah.
Well,
it would have really tied the narrative together. Yeah, where's the he wrote, Marlowe wrote a Biden novel that he said was going to release in July. He had samples of it and then never released it. And now
release the Biden novel, Mark.
Release the Biden novel, Marlowe. Do it. Anyhow. All right. I think we've had a great stream. And thank you so much for all the super chats. You guys have been fantastic tonight.
Baby Hudson made shoes.
Yes, baby Hudson. Baby Hudson needs another sock. The other one has been completely it doesn't bend anymore.
Ew.
Because it's been used so much. So in any case, we'll leave. Last second, Son of Haster, thanks so much. $5. My buddy Mike said this was a cool, chill podcast, and I listened, and it's all buggery talk. He never said that. He said he almost had a panic attack. He did. Yes, we really ran him over the coals. He got brain sexually assaulted learning about MK Ultra last time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was tough for him. I didn't realize he was such a sensitive soul, to be honest.
The best part about taking away someone's hope is when they think that they are hardened, and you just show them that there's another level in which they actually had hope. Yeah, it's like at one point someone like Sandbatch was like naive and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And then he turned 2.
Yeah, and then he turned 2 and did ayahuasca for the first time. So, all right. Well, we're going to cut it. Thanks for all the supers again. We love you long time, and we will see you next week.
Good night, America.
We will not walk in fear one of another. We will not be driven by fear into an age of unreason if we dig deep in our history and our doctrine, and remember that we are not descended from fearful men, not from men who feared to write, to associate, to speak, and to defend the causes that were for the moment unpopular. We must not confuse dissent with disloyalty. Good night,